We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to...
Live from the Thunderdome in beautiful South Macon, Georgia, it's the Morning Roast!
This is the Morning Roast for live for a thirsty Thursday, August 8th, 2013. Can you smell what the roast is cooking? Don't answer that just yet.
Well, I smell something else in this house.
We're back on.
Feet on the rug.
We're back on the road. We're back here on the air with Irv, yours truly, DB, and behind the camera, behind the nerve center is our very own Make It Karaoke, Ed Einbinder.
Yes, Ed is back.
Yes,
Thank
he's
you,
back on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He's here.
So, Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Feeling good?
Just sleeping since I've been home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I almost died.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my blood pressure was like 80/60.
Wow.
Yeah, it just went...
You feel like a big fish
combination of
out of water.
heat exhaustion and high blood pressure medicines that I shouldn't have been taking because I didn't have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we want to say good morning.
But I will say that the food at Coliseum is a heck of a lot better than the food at the medical center.
Of course, but you know the medical center has better treatment. I'm afraid of the
Food
Coliseum.
tastes like
I know so many
chewing
people.
on nothing. It don't even taste like chicken.
I want to say good morning to everybody. Good morning, photo guide, Michelle Stacy. Good morning, Rocco. Monty Sprinkles, Smell My Finger, and Vaping Mick.
Yes.
Morning.
Thank you for everyone coming in today.
Morning, everybody. Anyway, good to have you all back. It's good to be back. How'd you like your little mini vacation there, brother?
Well,
a la Edward.
Yeah, I guess you're talking to you.
Yeah, Ed gave us 2 days off.
Yes.
He's the
No
producer.
pay, too.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Rocco says we miss
those
you.
are your furlough days.
Thank you, Rocco. We missed Ed. We missed you in the show.
Speaking of furlough days, next week is the last furlough day for the base.
Warner Robins Air Force
Yep.
Base?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I spoke to Olin about that.
And Terry Wilson, too. Because she works at the base as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're telling me that at that base, that they're still fearing they're going to close it because they have too many grievances. In other words, they're not union, and they have too many grievances. So based on that, Chuck Hagel came through, and instead of going to the base, he bypassed all of it and he went straight to North Carolina base. So who the hell knows? Robins Air Force, like Macon, Georgia, is in trouble once again.
Oh yes.
What do you expect? But let me see. Oh, good morning, Ketacorn. Good morning, is this real? Good to have you guys back. Good to be back. We got a lot of shit that happened in the last couple of days.
Oh, yes, we did.
And
a whole lot of stuff.
one of the things that obvious is this bullshit that's going on with these military bases closing down.
Oh, yes.
You know, and Obama, of course, is a great appearance on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, which I thought it was very interesting to see him so relaxed and serious at the same time. He wasn't that funny, but it was relaxed and serious. And, you know, they actually Jay showed a picture of Putin, that jewel thief creep of a Russian KGB guy.
Super Bowl spirit.
Yeah. And I was surprised by his response to that, you know. Then, of course, he canceled the meeting with him.
Well, yeah.
So, who the hell knows where we're headed. But, you know, it's not like it used to be in the old days where every time we had something with Russia, everybody was on pins and needles. Right now, they're just, what are they? Are they even a superpower anymore? The hell are they? They're like Greece.
Greece on
How much of a
steroids?
threat really are they anymore? I think even Osama bin Laden, who's dead, is more of a threat.
No, we don't
Or
know
his
if he's
legacy.
really dead yet.
Pardon?
We don't have proof he's dead.
Yeah.
But still, this whole country is full of fucking bullshit. But getting on the local news, I got a video of the question for the candidates,
Okay.
Oh, yes.
which I need to play because I want to interject, and I'm sure you guys will too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and there'll be a surprise guest on there too.
All right, well, I'll preface that, because I have the story up.
We'll make.
Yeah.
I got a 6-minute video.
It's only a paragraph. All right, with the making Bib Consolidated election, it's about a month away. WXGA Chase Ambrose, who, by the way, one of the greatest reporters, I swear to God. This guy
And one of the
is
best Ghostbusters in the world.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
he
he
is.
actually has an original Ghostbusters car.
Oh, I'll find a picture of it.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah,
You have a picture
he's
of it?
got the Magnum
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
And he used to drive a hearse as well. He
Yes.
bought a hearse, he sold that, but he drives around in a Ghostbusters car. And Chase Ambrose sat down with all 7 candidates running for mayor and asked them a series of questions. The first questions in the series, if elected, how would you improve race relations in Macon Bibb County? And then, of course, they all answer some bullshit. Joe Allen says, well, I think I'm doing a pretty good job right now. Charlie Bishop said, well, I'm not so...
You're giving away the video.
No, I'm only reading one sentence, Ed.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I don't want.
No, all right. Go ahead.
Just
Put up the video.
roll that
I have
Roll that
I have
beautiful
issues
video.
with a couple
You know
of
what I
these
mean?
here.
Pull
Here
it
we
up.
go.
Here we go.
Well, in this segment, the candidates appear in alphabetical order with the exception of the write-in candidate who appears last. Tonight's question is, if elected, what would you do to improve race relations in Macon Bibb County?
Well, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of doing that right now. I mean, I'm talking to people. As you know, I have a nonprofit program, Kids You'll Love, and we work. I met Caucasians and Black America, White America. We work together in trying to talk to people one-on-one at Christmas time or through other parts of the programs that we do. So I've always tried to work at doing that.
Well, I'm not so sure we have a big race relations problem. I think every year, when it gets time for elections, everybody kind of pulls the race card. Throughout the year, I really don't see that type problem. You know, we've come a long way from when we had bad race relations.
I have blinders on my own face. I don't recognize race as any color or anything. So to make that as a race relations, to better that, is going out in the community, working with the people in the community, being there for the people in the community, and not sitting back at the desk. And the only time that you sit back at the desk is when you have to fill out your paperwork, and that's it.
I think reconciliation
is something that we have to deal with. We haven't dealt with that question yet, especially in the South. We dealt with Reconstruction. We dealt with Jim Crow. We dealt with segregation. We've never sat down, and like everything was forced. Everything was by law. The Supreme Court forced us to integrate the schools. The Voting Rights Act forced us to look to change the way we did voting. The Civil Rights Act changed public accommodation. We've never been able to sit down with one another and say, let's do this because it is the right thing to do. It is in the best interest of our community. And I want to lead that type of dialogue going forward.
I think that's a tricky one. I think the race relations in Macon need to be repaired. And I think part of it will be repaired by making sure we elect a good combination of people who can work together. Because I think part of what people will look at is how well are the people who are elected working together. But I think in terms of looking at what you do as it relates to race relations in our community, it will not be solved by politicians alone. I think you got to engage the community and you got to get others involved.
I think that's an excellent question, and I think the best way to repair or restore race relations is through the economy. I think if you're working together and making money together, that does a lot. We need to take a page out of the playbook from Atlanta in the 1980s when they said we're too busy to hate. We're making too much money and doing things together. So,
first of all, you have to, I think, give other races besides the white race, you have to give those people an opportunity. And I don't mean handouts, and I don't mean, give them more than you would give others, but you have to give them more opportunity. You have to give them opportunity of respect. You have to give them opportunity to have positions in the city, certain jobs that they're just not getting.
Our interview series continues next week when the candidates answer the question of how they will address blighted neighborhoods and abandoned housing. Live in studio, Chase Ambrose, WGXA.
Okay, I need to interject my thoughts here, and you guys can take it from there. All right.
Okay.
Number one, Sam Hart. Yeah, he's commissioner. I haven't heard him do anything. Number one. I ain't seen him do
He's
it.
the black version of
Robert Reeker, talking about employment. Yeah, I had 5 years, right? 5 years so far working on employment here. Hasn't done a lick of shit. Now, Joe Allen, he does work with the Kids You Love. He started Kids You Love. But still, it has nothing to do with race relations. David and Ant, they had good points there.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as Charlie Bishop, where the hell has he been? Oh, only when the campaign or the election comes up, we talk about race relations? Been going on all year long. Where's he been, under a rock?
That's the problem.
But one thing I love about Reeker is he's always responding, well, that's a good question, while he scatters his brain to make up some bullshit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What do you think, Derek? I mean, I got so much shit to say, I'll let you go first.
Well, my write-in is going to be Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah.
I'm writing in Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah.
I probably might write in myself.
Yourself. I'm going to go for Derek Barrett.
I'll write in Frank N. Stein.
Yeah.
Good. That's
the
what
thing
we need.
is, one thing I really like, and this is not because of any person, but I really like what Anthony said when he said to basically have them admit that the mainstream majority population has to admit to the 800-pound gorilla or 2-ton elephant that's in the room and say that it's an elephant in the room. By saying this, you got to help the other smaller populations by not with just a handout, but with an opportunity to actually, have some type of position, because handout's not going to do you any good. It's kind of like trying to pay your bills with like sub coupons, sandwich coupons. You can't pay. They're not going to say you need to be able to have some cash in order to make ends meet, and I have to agree on that particular point right there, because having a handout here and there is not gonna help you fish. I mean, they always say, give a man a fish you can feed, but teach him to fish you'll be able to feed.
Give a man a fish and eat for a day. Teach him to fish, he'll eat. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. I mean, how you gonna be able to teach a guy to fish when you don't even give him a chance to get a rod and reel and a hook?
Well, Rieger had it right, okay, by employment. But my point is, he's been there since 2008, right?
Yeah, 2008.
2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12. This is 2013. And what has happened to the employment in Macon? He hasn't done a damn thing to help it. All he cares about is what goes in his pocket. We don't need somebody like that again.
Well,
Macon's going to end up like Detroit.
Well, let's hope not. But I will say that you're right. Anthony basically nailed it. I don't know about Joe Allen. Joe Allen, this Yuletide shit that he does, according to some people, the only reason why he does it, or he has done it in the past, is because a lot of volunteers that do the Yule, what do they call it, Yule Kids or Yule...
Kids You'll Love.
Yeah, Kids You'll Love program, is because you have a lot of women, female volunteers. And he likes to hang around with the women. That's according to many. And one of his former best friends who told me that that's the real reason why he goes there. And it wouldn't surprise me. As far as David and all the other guys, they still haven't, once again, they give him a two-minute little snippet. I mean, race relations in Macon, Georgia are a big problem. They have been a big problem. They will continue to be a big problem. And anyone that thinks otherwise and thinks that there is no problem in the southern Macon, Georgia, is out of their mind. What's wrong?
I think that someone's at the door.
There's somebody at the door. Welcome. And my concern is that they're not getting it.
Irvin?
Yeah.
He needs to talk to you.
Who?
Somebody needs to talk to you.
Who?
Go guys, so see you.
Okay. Hold on a second.
What?
Got somebody at the door?
He asked for you, so go see him. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, it's 8:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time at the Morning Roast. We're live from the doghouse.
We're doing the show.
What do you want me to do, man? Get another secretary then.
Just tell him.
Get another
Freaking guy wants a lawnmower. I ain't got a lawnmower.
Hey, let's get him on the show.
Jeez.
Yeah, we'll get him take
have him on the show.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway,
Well,
it's 8:18 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time in Macon, Georgia. It's 70.
yeah, I should have gotten him on the show, Volpa, but you're right.
That's what I said.
All right, so I still think that the question wasn't properly answered by anybody. Race relations is very deep-rooted here. It's very subtle. And here's the thing. I was watching those tapes from James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, and Rocco, you may remember this because this is during our, I guess maybe just before we turned teens. Who the hell knows? When did those tapes come out? Somewhere
early to mid 60s.
Early in the mid 60s. We were probably a few years old.
It was during the debate. It was the debate between him
Buckley
and William Buckley.
Yeah, William Buckley, and who was like this with President Nixon, and he used to annoy the shit out of me how he used to talk. You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look all intellectual. But, and he considered himself an intellect. And meanwhile, James Baldwin really put him out. Talked about perception. How the perception of the black experience has always been that they were looked down upon and all that. And they had to circumvent and overcome that issue in order to get a person to even come close to giving them at least some decent respect. That still is a problem today. That's still the very same issue today. And I find it here in Macon, Georgia. It's almost like you have to prove yourself in order to be accepted as a black individual in this society. And when I put that shit up, you should see how they were railing on me. Who was railing on me? Who was railing on me? Other white people.
Really?
I said, and I said to them, I said, how would you know? Oh, you're always throwing up the race card. I think I heard somebody saying that. Somebody just said that. Oh, throwing up the race card. Who was it that said that? I think it was Bishop. I don't want to hear that shit. The race card. We still got a full deck of race issues. A full freaking deck.
No, they only come up when we have elections. That's what I said. Where's he been? Under a rock all year long?
Yeah.
You're right, Rocco. Buckley wouldn't even give white people a time of day. It's true.
Unless you had money in the name.
As far as I'm concerned, any of these ones like Ellis that are going on their past record, give it up. Because your past record sucks.
Well,
everyone that's been in power so far, the past record sucks. We need new blood.
Well, all I know is somehow they're twisting and turning this thing, such as the current mayor. They're buying up all this land, handing it over to Newtown Bacon or whatever other organization to try to rebuild. That's why he's going gangbusters with tearing down homes and taking over the lots and then selling them. And everybody thinks that he's doing a good thing when in fact what he's doing is he's doing like what happened in Atlanta, where there is really no real good historical buildings left. Besides the fact that they burned them down during the Civil War. But still, there were a lot of still good buildings there. And instead of them trying to rebuild it the way it used to be, or at least give it some character, they bulldozed all of them down and put up shit. Some of the architecture in Atlanta is freaky looking. All the buildings are all like confusing even to get to. God help you if you drive through. You get all screwed up. Wind up on a ramp in the highway again without realizing that that's what you're doing. You go down 14th Street and 10th Street and all that shit.
Yeah.
All those ramps down there by the Turner Broadcasting Building. You know?
There's Chase's car.
Say again?
Chase.
Oh, yeah, that's Chase's car.
Ghostbuster Mobile.
Yeah,
Chase
Ghostbuster
Ambles.
Mobile.
By the way, that's the side of City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. I mean, look, all I'm saying is, we're not getting a lot of answers from these candidates. Now, I've been trying to get a hold of Bob Fickling, who we did that show, which I still have not seen on the air, but that's neither here or there. But
yeah, you have cable, right?
Yeah. I want to get a real mayoral debate together. And I thought if we could do that, then we can ask some real questions. I mean, Chase did a great job about that. But again, 2 minutes is not enough. Or a minute and a half, whatever the hell they said. Half of them, once again, Ellis brings up the civil rights. And look, civil rights, the Supreme Court already broke that shit up. So let's move beyond that. Let's talk about how we can together as a community bring about civil rights, without worrying about the Supreme Court making decisions for us. They're all screwed up anyway. Schizophrenic over there. Those people don't know what the hell they're doing. Those justices. And so, we got a lot of problems that we're going to have to overcome here in Macon, Georgia. And the first big hump that we have to get over, like we did yesterday, we didn't have hump day.
Right.
Yeah. It was like there was no hump at all. We have to have no humps at all. We have to just move forward with making sure that everybody's included in this without the bullshit that we've been handed to for years, where the mayor candidates all have said, yeah, we're going to improve race relations. They don't do shit. They don't do nothing to bring about real equality and freedom in our community. Even the police department, they're doing a better job, I have to say, of trying to have these community events going on. But then it's like Fort Knox. You don't want to go on some little ride with your kid and you got 10,000 police officers all around you with their blaring frickin' sirens and their lights, and I mean, it's ridiculous. They think they're doing a good thing, but they're not. It's like going in, you go in and you want to make sure you're walking straight, you're walking on eggshells because you got all these police officers standing there with their arms crossed, which, by the way, is a sign of pride and of arrogance. It's so deeply rooted and ingrained in this society that it's going to really take, we need Clinton back. We need a Clinton. We need somebody like that, who, by the way, was our first black president.
Well, according to Toni Morrison,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying.
Clinton was our first black president?
Well, yeah,
But he
he did a better job, I think, than Obama.
Did he inhale or exhale?
I think he
Now,
did a
you're
better
talking
job.
about waiting to exhale. That's that
Oh,
book
by the
by
way,
Terrence
did we
McMillan.
celebrate Monica's birthday the other day? She turned 40.
Oh, Monica
Monica
Lewinsky.
who?
Lewinsky. The White House
Will
host.
she have a bar mitzvah? But Irv, how would you improve race relations in Macon? That's a good question, Walter Bud. First of all, I would have a big community town hall meeting dinner party.
Free food?
And I would then bring up all the good people that have
You're gonna
done
have
great
food there.
things.
Are you going to have food there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Al will be there, yeah. Okay, soul food, well, yeah, every kind of food. We would have like an international dinner, right? Everybody bring their own flavor of food, including Spanish people. And whatever one or two Mexicans that are left here. Because the other day, you and I were walking in Atlanta, and I was like, they're still here? I was surprised to see some Mexicans around here.
What you got with
But,
Mexicans? You got a problem with Mexicans?
No. I'm just saying, I would have a big powwow, and then I would bring up some of the community leaders that have done good for our community, and raise them up and say, these are the people that we ought to emulate or imitate. Thank you for your service, or thank you for doing that, and inspire people with those that have done. Now, that's true. It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
In this community. But I would even bring
hay
up...
in a needle stack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even better. Hay in a needle stack. You got pricked all the time around me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and I would start there. And then I would go to each and every community. I'd have even Chase Ambrose take me around with Ghostbusters. And we're going to bust those ghosts of racism and anti-Semitism and anti-whatever, Mexicanism. Go around and try to bring about a dialogue. People are afraid to talk around here. You notice that?
Oh, yeah.
And the only time they talk is to try to shut you down. Nothing's really going on around here. Yeah, nothing's going on around here. That's the point. Nothing's going on around here. It's still the same status quo that it was back in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, and in the current state that we're in, where nobody really trusts the police. They can't stand the politicians here. You think Congress has a bad rap?
Yeah.
You should come here and see how people think about their government here.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we ought to go into anarchism. At least you know what the hell you're getting with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying what Rock said. If you can improve race relations in Macon, I'll give you the Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, thank you, Rocco. But let me just say this. This Nobel Peace Prize, everybody makes a big stink out of it. Meanwhile, where did it come from? What was the bedrock of the Nobel Peace Prize? Some guy that invented dynamite.
Yeah, Alfred Nobel.
Yeah. What good is that?
Well, good is it because he decided after seeing how people have been using stuff for bad. He'd say maybe you do need to price to incentivize people to do good.
Good for you. Good for you, Alfred Nobel. It was real noble of you to invent something, and now that it's going gangbusters in Wildfire, and then all of a sudden you have regret, maybe you should have thought of that before you did it.
He didn't know they were going to be blowing up stuff left and right.
Well, what the hell did you invent dynamite for? To blow shit up?
Not for war, I don't think. You know, people use it for mines and stuff, you know, for digging gold, coal, diamonds. I mean, you know, just for that. I mean, it wasn't used for warfare.
No. All right. Well, yeah, I'll take the price. Why the hell not?
Yeah, it's $1 million.
Yeah. Obama got it like, what, a week after he became president?
Well, at the end of his first year as president. Yeah.
Then they want it back, and they want the little box that went with it. You remember that story?
Yeah, well, they should have
made a big shit about the box.
They should have got the Nobel Prize back from Yasser Arafat. You're going to start talking about giving it back. Sheesh. Wow. You know who should have gotten? I think you know who should have gotten it that year when President Obama Salma Hayek should have won that year.
Salma Hayek?
Yes.
For what?
For helping out the UNICEF. She went to Africa. She went to specifically Uganda, and this is when she just had a baby. She just finally had her daughter, and you know, there was some people talking about, you know, how to stop famine. There was this one woman, an African woman, a Ugandan woman whose child was basically starving for famine, and then just out of
I didn't know where she stole the baby.
No, she didn't steal the baby. She just said, "Can I see the baby?" And then all of a sudden she saw it was like stars, and all of a sudden she just pulled one of her boobs out and started nursing the baby.
Go figure.
I mean, come on. You always see these. Come on now, Aaron. Tell me the truth. You always see these commercials talking about save the children, feed the children. That's what she did. I'm sorry. They requested. She delivered it. Bam. She deserved the Peace Prize just for that alone.
Wow.
Just for that. I mean, you seen Sally Struthers on All in the Family talking about feed the children. She ain't gave a Snickers bar to these kids yet. Come on. Not one doggone Twinkie, Little Debbie snack cake, nothing. Salma delivered. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I don't know about Salma Hayek feeding a baby with a titty deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, but hey, you know.
It's a start.
It's a start. I think it was some freaky notion that she had. What's it like to have a black person suck on my titty? You know, people go there. I'm sorry. I just want to imagine.
And you know what I said? Well, no, what I said. Well, maybe not for the baby. You know what the crazy part is? Like 20 years from now, that guy's gonna have the biggest bragging rights of all. He could be in college getting his PhD, and his friends say, "Man, that's nothing." Look, and Fume, listen what? During spring break, I was making out with a cheerleader, and then this dude that's like a football player, man, there ain't nothing. I made out with a cheerleader and a gymnast. What you did, Fume? Well, I really cannot say, but when I was a little baby, I was breastfed by Salma Hayek.
You sound like one of my doctors. Actually, you sound like all five of my friggin' doctors, man. Dr. Patel, Dr. Patel, Dr. Patel.
Oh, yeah. Everybody says Patel.
Dr. Patel. Oh, and the Dr. Mystery.
Okay.
Mystery, I swear to God. Dr. Mystery.
Well, anyway, going back to tolerance and racial and all that other shit. Obama did mention about the gay rights in Russia and put that out there, and I think that's going to affect the Olympics. Not that I'm a big Olympic fan, because to me that takes up too much television time. and it seems like there's sports now that are like, ooh, that's not a sport.
Well, curling. I mean, basically, have you ever seen curling? Yeah, this is basically
the only curling I know is that guy from the Three Stooges.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically just a frozen version of shuffleboard, basically. I mean, if you ever seen it.
Anyway, so
if you get a gold, if you get a bronze medal on that, you really suck as an athlete. So but I gotta definitely talk about that in sports. But that's
that's it for your sports segment, and hopefully we'll be awake for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else is in the news, Derek? We got anything local?
Hey, I got it. Rocco, lay off Michelle, okay? I'm gonna ban you. Leave Michelle alone.
Yeah, let's
zero tolerance. Your final warning.
let's move past that, or whatever you guys are
Come on,
talking
go back
about.
to your
Move past
corners. Go back to your corners, okay? So
I know. Well, Rocco, even if she started, please, can you end it? Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're back. We do not, you guys do not need to be the center of attention. Writing all the shit. Stick with the program, please. Thank you. And what else is in the news?
Okay, there's a North Bibb public accused robber arrested. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man and charged him with robbery. Actually, yesterday, just before noon, Daniel Kuhn has been.
Daniel who?
Daniel Kuhn, Koon.
Don't laugh.
It's not really a wrestler. Hey, this is the guy. This
I don't
is
know.
the
I
name.
think it's news stories.
This is the name he was given. I'm just saying. Daniel Brian Kuhn had been staying at Villager Lodge on Harrison Road, according to a release. He's being held at the sheriff's office without bond. Officials recovered his SUV at Pet Supermarket on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard after a caller tipped the sheriff's office on Monday earlier this week, according to a release. According to Lieutenant Sean Defoe with the Bibb County Sheriff's Department, a man approached the customer service counter at Publix just 2 p.m. and demanded money. The man did not show a weapon, but the clerk told the clerk that he had one. Defoe said they believe the suspect is the same man who robbed the Family Dollar store on Emory Highway last week. The suspect is about 5'9" tall and 160 pounds. He was last seen leaving the Publix shopping center towards Northside Drive, driving a 2002 Ford Escape, a black Ford Escape with gray trim. The driver's side back window is covered in plastic.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, another robbery.
Yes, another robbery.
And he was arrested.
Yes.
One less person make excuses for themselves. Like this story here. Somebody now making an excuse that it was because of Allah peanut butter sandwiches.
Sesame Street.
There's his mugshot.
Yeah.
Okay. On Sunday, that was the guy who robbed the
Daniel
Publix.
Kuhn.
Yes.
About time.
That's not an actual racial slur. That's his actual name. So just so people don't think we're not trying to instigate any type of ethnic slurring. That's his actual name.
That's his name. There it is.
How about that?
Damn. Intimidation.
There's a wrestler named Daniel Bryan too, and he has a beard too. He's known for having a thick beard. Crazy, huh? That's what. Anyway, there's a story of a Muslim stabs a man 17 times, says Allah told him to do it. On Sunday, on a San Francisco suburb, 34-year-old Damon Agnew took a bizarre and violent trip into a local hardware store. The man spray painted his face silver and black, which happens to be the colors of the Oakland Raiders. Man, all this stuff seems to be somewhat linked to sports. And then violently stabbed and killed a store clerk. Agnew's reason for this? He claimed Allah told him to go to the store and help people. This incident happened in the small San Francisco suburb called El Sobrante. Agnew went into the back of the store where he spray painted his face. The head clerk, 51-year-old Daniel Stone, told his co-workers to call the police. This made Agnew angry and very violent. Agnew attacked Stone with a knife. The clerk tried to run away and made it outside. It wasn't too long, however, before Agnew caught up with him and continued to thrust his knife into the man until he was dead. In total, Stone was stabbed 17 times. Agnew then ran down the street into the backyard of the store's owner, Richard Oliver. The attacker picked up the family dog and then went into the house. Oliver's family members immediately left the property and called 911. Agnew was eventually found in the home wearing a bloody sweatshirt. He was holding a knife also covered in blood. Agnew had been arrested in the past for petty crimes, but nothing of this scale.
Wow.
They did have some questions that, does this incident show how dangerous Islam can be, or is this an isolated incident of an individual losing his marbles?
Losing his marbles. I haven't heard that terminology. Who plays with marbles anymore?
I guess not that many people. I mean, other than Chinese checkers and I don't know, Hungry Hippos.
Who plays that anymore?
Yeah.
He may. No, better not say it.
Anyway, we're gonna move on with this. Family is seeking community's help for son's funeral. In Warner Robins, a family with ties to Middle Georgia seeking help from the community. Holly Graff is from Warner Robins. She and her husband Jonathan are currently stationed at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. Tuesday night and lost her 7-year-old son Johnny. Johnny was born with a major heart defect and complications from an infection he contracted in the hospital led to brain damage. Holly and Jonathan have 5 other children and are trying to get Johnny and the rest of their family back to Warner Robins for a funeral on Saturday. He was just a true pleasure to know. He was one of those kids that his eyes lit up when you walked in the room. He smiled all the time. He loved music. Frank Sinatra was his favorite. Said Johnny's aunt, Pam Piper, who works in Macon. In lieu of flowers, the family is asking for new toys that they plan to donate to the local pediatric wards. To help the family, go to www.gofundme.com, gofundme.com. Type in Johnny Graff in the search box and donate any amount. The funeral is Saturday, August 10th, which is this Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it will be at the Southside Baptist Church in Warner Robins. The public is encouraged to attend. The family asks everyone wears a happy color instead of black. Now, I saw the film on this little boy. He looked he was like a little clone to his father. He looked exactly like his father. Very sad. Very sad. See, this is the kind of stuff that I don't mind, and I may go there on Saturday. It's at 3 o'clock, and it's not that far from here. It's in Warner Robins, but Warner Robins is right down the road from my house, not that far away. Something like that, I think it's heartbreaking, and we should do something. And they're not asking to give them money so they can spend it on even a kid's funeral. They're talking about giving money so they can give it to the ward, to the children's ward. So there you have it. Thought I'd bring that in. And did we talk about the man that was arrested at Publix? That was the story that you showed.
Yes.
And then how come they have it twice? I wonder if the 2 Publix were.
No, it's the same one.
Well, we had a national gathering for National Race Night Out. Neighborhoods gather for National Night Out. And that was neighborhood watch organizations from all over Middle Georgia celebrated National Night Out on Tuesday. Most served food and had events for children as community members visit each other and with law enforcement in an effort to network and fight crime. In Macon and Bibb County alone, around 30 groups gathered to celebrate. In East Macon, hundreds of people filtered through the event on Kitchen Street, where neighborhood watch members also held school supply giveaways, free food, face painting, and bouncing castle were also available at the event, where many local politicians showed up as things were winding down. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
As things were winding down, they show up. Other neighborhoods held community meals in an attempt to connect with neighbors and figure out ways to better keep an eye on each other and each other's houses. So, who's making the attempts to try to bring race relations to a better grip in the city? Not the candidates, not those in power, but the neighborhoods themselves, the people themselves.
Yes.
This is why I say, people, you're the ones that can make a difference. Everybody that's in the office, went from Obama to all the way down to your public school administrator.
Yeah.
All these people are voted in, and if you get the bad shit that's going on here, it's your fault. It's our fault, because we're the ones that vote these people in. We have to start voting in people that make sense, or that at least are going to try to attempt to do the right thing. Now, here's the problem that we have. We have so many people on one side, and we have so many people on this side, and everybody votes in a few of these and a few of these, and then they don't work together. We really got to come to a grip on, finding a common ground, which is something that people don't want to do. But before we can get to common ground, first you have to realize what the problem is. What is the problem? When you have people on this side denying that there's any racial problems here, and you have people on this side that are saying, Wally, no, there is racial problems here, you're not going to find a middle ground.
Right.
A lot of denial going on here. I don't know if something was there. I'm sure he was. ATT says, I'm glad I live in Alaska and not Macon. We do not judge or politicians by color. We also do not allow them to use race as an excuse. Well, look, ATT, I'm glad you're in Alaska too. But how many people really live there? Not only that, you guys are the ones that produce that Sarah Palin. Ugh.
That's another story for another time.
That's another. Urban Newsflash, maybe voting is right or not real. Maybe it's already set up in stone, establishing one, and voting is a put on. Maybe.
Very interesting.
Maybe. It's like those Muhammad Ali fights. After a while, you knew they were fakes.
Muhammad Ali fights?
Yeah, I mean...
Just Ali's fights?
Towards the end of his career, I think a lot of his fights were fakes.
Not Joe Frazier fights, not Sugar Ray Leonard's fights, not Rocky Marciano fights.
No, Ali was a big... Ali's still my hero. I tell you, I met him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he remembers me, of course. But I held the elevator for him. He had his baby with him. Baby had as big as a head as he did. It's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
He's holding this little bundle of joy. It was a big head with little arms. Anyway.
Yes.
He says, you love George Foreman. The George Foreman grill.
Well, the grill's pretty good. I know. I can't hate on that.
Yeah, I used to have one. Leaves a mess on your counter.
If you're not too careful, yes.
Anyway, let me say, Ali fights, and the reason Don King is rich today. Yeah, Don King got his ass kicked by Tyson. You remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
That was good. Got his ass kicked. Anyway. What else is in the news, Derek?
Well, yes, people say, to put in some more good news, as if say that this is probably not every day we have back-to-back good news, and I tell you, we
not
do
around
have
here.
Yeah, not around here, which is very rare. But here it is. There's a Miracle Treat fundraiser that kicks off today, Thursday, I should say. 23 participating Dairy Queens around Middle Georgia will donate at least $1 to the Medical Center of Central Georgia's Children's Hospital for every Blizzard they sell. The Miracle Treat fundraiser kicked off at the Children's Hospital yesterday as patients, parents, and staff members were treated to their choice of Blizzard, their favorite flavor of Blizzard. Hospital staff members say that this is the 20th year the hospital has been involved in the fundraiser, and last year Dairy Queen raised $25,000 for the Children's Hospital. It says it makes my day a little bit better. It makes me feel a little bit happier. I was ready for it too, and this is my favorite. I love Dairy Queen, says a patient, 17-year-old patient, Kamika Wright from Macon. So hope you enjoy your Blizzard, and may other people will today. As you know, check your 23 participating Dairy Queens all around Macon and Middle Georgia, particularly those in Gray, and treat yourself to a Blizzard and donate $1 for the Children's Hospital.
Well, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Oh well, that coincides with Monday. This Monday is National Chicken Wing Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. National Chicken Wing Day.
National Chicken Wing Day. Wow.
I didn't know. This is what Congress passes. All this bullshit. All these national holidays. They can get National Chicken Wing Day. And National Chicken Wing Day, to celebrate the occasion, Chief Operating Officer of Buffalo's Cafe, Sean Curtis, and owner of Frank Cars in Macon, Carl Fambro, Boat Stop by Daybreak, which is that homeless hangout place that, remember we had Sister Grime on a few months back when they opened that place up with their signature chicken wing. Buffalo's Cafe shared half of its sauces and signature blue cheese dressing. Franco has 40-plus wing sauces to share and gearing up for a Mercer football season. By the way, they just passed the ordinance for
tailgating, right?
For tailgating.
Okay. Yes. I think that Daybreak is not the one with the none court. Daybreak is basically the morning news program that's on WMGT, Channel 41, the NBC.
Oh, that's the same name they got over there.
Yeah.
Daybreak.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well.
Coinkydink.
So they didn't give the wings to the homeless people. Instead, they gave it to people that get paid on television. The hell, shit. All right. Well, let me see. Buffalo blue cheese combo's yummy. All right.
I'll take your word for it. Michelle.
All right. What else, Derek? We're gonna go what? National, international.
Well, I do. I guess I have a couple of ones of. Favorite wing sauce, I would have to say it would have to be honey mustard. I think that's probably one of my favorite wing sauce. Since you asked, I did have some national news. Usher's ex-wife asked for emergency custody hearing.
Oh, yes. You heard about that, right?
Yes. Usher's ex-wife has asked for an emergency custody hearing after one of the pair's sons nearly drowned in a pool at the singer's Atlanta home. A lawyer for Tamika Foster Raymond filed the request in Fulton County Superior Court Tuesday. It says the boys suffered a near-death accident while left unsupervised in a pool at the Grammy winner's home. A judge has set a hearing for Friday, for tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Atlanta police have said 5-year-old Usher Raymond V on Monday fell to the bottom of the pool and became stuck in the drain. Police say that he was alert and conscious when he was pulled from the pool and was taken to the hospital. The singer was awarded primary physical custody of his 2 sons last year.
Wow.
This is I think that I wouldn't be surprised as his ex-wife to Miss Foster basically doing the. Do you think it may be some kind of spite emergency custody hearing because he took the custody of it after one of her sons, not biologically his, but one of his stepsons was killed in a boating accident.
Kind of scary. Yeah.
Jet ski.
Was he with that stepson when the boat accident happened?
No, he wasn't even there at the time because she was supposed to.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that all these things happen when he's not around, and yet he is.
But she wasn't around either.
Well, but he has custody of this kid.
Yeah, he has custody of this one. Yes.
Yeah, he has custody. So I don't know.
Granted,
it's beautiful too.
Yeah.
You look at the little boy. I say, oh my God, thank God. It would have been horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Had that little boy drowned.
Yes, that's very true. Yes, very true.
And I don't know.
I'm just. It's just maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me because I'm just getting like these seafood platter vibes. It's just really fishy. Like all of a sudden, somebody drowned. They say you're unfit, huh? An unfit mother, unfit father, huh? It's like, and basically just a retaliation because the jet ski accident that took the lives of one of her sons, and it just seems to be, it's not the way to go for tit for tat.
But the son that died was her son as well.
Yes.
Oh well, I don't. No, I have to agree with her emotions and her feelings behind all this. She's already lost a son.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to judge this. But I will say this: where the hell was he?
A very good question.
Where was he? Is he that busy? He can't hang around with his son? He's always talking about his son. How his son is everything to him and this and that. I don't know.
Well, Usher.
Yeah.
Usher.
Oh.
I like Usher. I actually like him. I saw him in New York when he danced in Bryant Park. He did a great job. I haven't followed his career, but but I know he started in Star Search.
Mm-hmm.
With Ed McMahon and all that. Kid rose to fame, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Says that the pool. Well, Walker says basically just have that pool drained if you're going to be taking care of a child like that, 5-year-old. Which I agree. That's why.
There you go.
That's why my mom had her pool paved in, just basically filled up because my niece, she should be 2 years old, next month. She didn't want anything to happen to her, and that was one of the biggest things that she worries of having a pool, her cement pool in the neighborhood, because she was afraid that she would be liable.
She filled it up.
Yeah, she filled it up. She was afraid. Yeah, because my mom had it filled up after my dad died because she was afraid that some kid, even though while she's at work or while we're at school, would just basically just fool around and just mess up, and then
why not have it fenced in? I mean, that's the other thing.
Well, it is fenced in, but people climb fences.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, put some freaking barbed wire.
That's his old lady.
So I mean, what you gonna do? You're just gonna have the fence electrified, and then people gonna then you going not for drowning. Oh, hey, well, why you had to shock the kid? See, you can't win for losing. You can't win for losing.
Yeah, so just fill it up and make it into a big gigantic slab.
Yeah.
Now the kid falls, trips, and cracks his head open on cement.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, for skateboarding. Yeah, but see, I don't know too many 5-year-olds that are skateboarding, but
Oh well.
Oh,
anyway,
but yes, pools are expensive to keep up.
We have some incoming news. Very sad. Before we wind up, the Wizard's gonna die. The Wizard of Oz, another one of the Munchkins, is dead.
Yeah.
Margaret Pellegrini, one of the last surviving Munchkin from the original production of The Wizard of Oz, died on Wednesday. That's yesterday. The Munchkin spokesman said. She was 89. Mm-hmm. Pellegrini played the Flower Pot Munchkin and one of the sleepyhead kids in a classic 1939 film, according to spokesman Ted Boltop. She suffered a stroke in a home in Phoenix on Monday. Flowers were placed in the Munchkin star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Wednesday. Pellegrini's death leaves just 2 surviving Munchkins, including Lollipop Kid Jerry Marin. By the way, that picture of me up there is me with a lollipop, because that's what they called me. Who lives in Los Angeles, and Ruth Tuccini, 95, who lives in Phoenix.
How about that? Also, I had another celebrity death. I guess it's more kind of like kids related. Mr. Cosmo Allegretti. Who created and voiced the puppet characters like Grandfather Clock and Dancing Bear on the children's television show Captain Kangaroo, has died. Mr. Allegretti, who had homes in Hampton Bay, New York, and New River, Arizona, died of emphysema in Arizona. His attorney and friend John Munzel said Wednesday he had been a puppeteer but was working as a set painter on the early days of Captain Kangaroo.
Now, who was that?
Cosmo Allegretti. He played the apprentice of Dennis the Apprentice, who was basically Lumpy Branham's sidekick character, Mr. Boehner the Painter. Lumpy Branham, he died back in '87. He's best known for playing Mr. Green Jeans, but he also played Mr. Boehner the Painter. And there was like this painter guy that always hung out with Mr. Boehner, Dennis the Apprentice. Yeah. Dennis. Yeah. He's known for Dennis. But Mr.
Captain Kangaroo's been dead, 20 years now?
Yeah, since the 90s, yeah. He also gave life to characters, puppet characters, Bunny Rabbit, Mr. Moose, Rollo the Hippopotamus, Miss Worm, and Cornelius the Walrus, and others. The show starring Bob Keeshan started on CBS in 1955 and aired for more than 30 years. As an actor, Allegretti appeared in films including Prince of the City. So, rest in peace, Mr. Allegretti.
There you go. Goodbye. Go to Green Bean Heaven.
Yes.
Anyway, so, speaking of Captain Kangaroo and that whole genre, there was Romper Room, Captain Kangaroo.
New Zoo Review.
The New Zoo Review.
Sesame Street.
Sesame
and,
Street.
Mr. Rogers'
Zoom.
Zoom, yeah.
Come on and zoom.
And
Electric
Company.
The Electric Company, of course. You could forget Bill Cosby, greatest work.
Mm-hmm.
And what was her name? The woman who played on West Side Story.
Rita Moreno.
Rita Moreno was on there. By the way, in New York, they didn't have Captain Kangaroo was big, but we had something called Officer Joe and his gang. And we'll have to return to that thought when we come back.
Yes, it's 9 o'clock a.m. 9 a.m. straight up. It's 73 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia. Partly cloudy with a high of 91 and a low of 74. You're watching the Morning Roast
First
live.
leg down.
Yes, live with Irv, Ed, and DB. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? On our recent trip to the Detroit Zoo, we were kind of disturbed at all the litter and all the abandoned homes and all the burned down buildings. So basically, I looked up some facts and everything about Detroit that I'm going to share with you guys. My wife happened to record a bunch of footage on the way out.
Now we're on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, we're back. So, well, sort of.
Are we back?
You're back.
Yes.
All right.
It's going on 9:06 a.m. in Macon, Georgia. It's 73 degrees, partly cloudy with a high of 91 and a low of 74. It's 73 degrees outside. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Doghouse with Irv, Ed, and DB here. We have.
Alrighty. It seems like we're always having operator difficulties. And I believe it's that hole in the sun. They said that.
No, it's the server at Vaughn is what was messing up. Because everything on our end is good. The internet was good. I had 2 other pages opened up that were fine. The only one that was messing up was the Vaughn. So he may be having problems this morning.
Right.
But still, considering it works pretty good.
Okay.
All right. Well,
happy to be here.
We're back. All right. Let's pick up. Officer Joe was the big deal in New York, and thank you, Ed. Yeah. You know what's so funny about that is I had a picture where I was wearing a suit like that, except for that little thing on the top, with my mom when I was about 3 or 4 years old, when we used to have to sit on the back of the bus at that time. And anyway, funny time. And Officer Joe used to do the Three Stooges. Yeah. And that's how I became a big Three Stooges fan, because I was not watching Captain Kangaroo. They were in competition with each other.
Okay.
And they were on at the same time. And Officer Joe played the Three Stooges cartoons, the Three Stooges, and Popeye.
Okay.
And
was he Joe? Now is that the same guy who played Joe from the Three Stooges, or that's a whole?
No. He was Officer Joe. He was just supposed to be a cop.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned Captain Kangaroo. It's kind of funny that you mentioned Captain Kangaroo. I think that was one of the reasons why they had to go off the air, because Captain Kangaroo was on the same time as the Today Show and Good Morning America, and CBS was like the only network at the time of the big three that didn't have their own news program. And
Yeah, that's true.
And when they did, they basically had to stay on for like half the time, because from 7 to 8 you had the Captain Kangaroo, and then from 8 to 9 you had the CBS Morning News, which is kind of messed up in a way because CBS Morning News was always in third place because they only had like 1 hour of news.
And you know, Captain Kangaroo was okay, but I always felt that he was playing around with those puppets all the time and all that other shit, Mr. Green Bean and all that. And
Mr.
they
Green
already
Jeans
had
was still grown. Was actually he didn't have all, puppets. I mean,
yeah, but
granted, he probably paved the way for Sesame Street, who had Muppets and all those other shows. Which basically
then there was It's a Beautiful Day in his name,
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Mr. Rogers, yeah, there was Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, wasn't he an ex-SEAL or something like that, Marine?
Yeah.
He was like an ex-SEAL.
Oh yeah, Captain Kangaroo. Yeah.
No, Mr. Rogers.
No, I didn't know
Mr.
that.
Rogers is
But
a
Bob
child
Keeshan
psychologist.
he was also a former Marine, as well as Lumpy Brown, who played Mr. Green Jeans. They were both former Marines. I guess being in the military that long, especially in like, you just want to get something that's total opposite of that. You just want to be with kids. You want to do something more peaceful. So I can't help.
By the way, I agree, ATT. Olive Oil did start most of the fights between Popeye and Brutus.
Just attention.
Yeah, she
freak.
was like an attention getter. She wanted attention.
Freak. Yeah.
Meanwhile, they were in love with this scrawny-looking woman, and if you heard her voice before they changed her voice, yeah, that was her later voice. But before that was her, oh, Popeye, horrible voice, horrible. And Popeye didn't have muscles. He had big forearms.
Yeah.
How was that all about?
I don't even want to.
And I never really saw Brutus eat. How did he get so fat? Popeye was always the one eating. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, but anyway, Popeye, they used to show Popeye, and if anybody remembers Felix the Cat, great. He wasn't just that clock on the wall.
Yeah.
He was a real cartoon at one time. And there was also Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember. What was another one? What was it? Crazy Cat. It had like this cat that was in love with this little mouse named Ixnax, who always kept throwing a brick at it all the time. Plow!
Yeah, well. Oh, Top Cat. Remember Top Cat? Top Cat.
That was definitely.
Oh God, I remember all those tunes. I used to play them in my dreams. And Felix the Cat, remember?
Yeah, I remember Felix
the Cat. The wonderful, wonderful cat.
I remember Tom Terrific. That was one of the cartoons they used to play on Captain Kangaroo. Tom Terrific. Tom Terrific.
I remember
Tom Terrific.
Yeah.
You see, I wasn't a big Captain Kangaroo fan.
Yeah. Because it was on CBS.
Didn't he have a little
funnel type hat on his head.
What about the little rat? Where the hell did he come from? Remember the little rat?
Which rat? There's a whole bunch of. You got Mickey Mouse, Mighty Mouse, Jerry Mouse.
He used to speak like with a Mexican accent or some bullshit.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I like cat. Half the cat, half dog.
Cat
whatever. Dog. He used the cop's phone on the telephone pole, and the cop would get mad. Who's that?
Oh, I guess he's talking about Tomcat.
Oh,
Top Cat.
Oh no, maybe he's talking about Tom Terrific.
Yeah. Tom Terrific and with mighty...
there he is.
Tom Terrific and with mighty Manfred, the Wonder Dog.
And you're freaking amazing. How the hell he picks these things up?
Yes.
On a whim. Good morning, Yurak.
Good morning, Yurak. I was just reading what Bean said to that. See, I didn't know this, that he had the mic was still on, the microphone was still on Captain Kangaroo, and Cap said, that ought to get the little bastards happy for today. He got in big trouble for that. So, well, come on, he's a former Marine. Come on. That ought to keep the little bastards happy.
There was Courageous Cat. I used to love that.
Courageous Cat. Okay, that's what.
He had these guns that did everything. You remember that?
Remember this show?
Yeah, Courageous Cat.
No,
Deputy Dog. Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Starring the one and only
Andy Griffith. No.
That was when Opie had hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that kid? Boy, he got ugly.
He just started directing.
I know, but God, he went in the wrong direction with his looks.
That would be a real tongue twister. Irving's Rickshaw Service. Say that 5 times as fast as you can.
Yeah, I like that, Hydro. Rickshaw Irving. Why not? So, welcome back. I guess we've been back.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back.
It's good to be back with Ed, me, and DB. DB and me.
I was watching the Mix in the Morning yesterday, and I seen Al Tillman on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, Your Excellency's glad you're okay, Ed. Anyway, I want to say hello to everybody. Let's go down the roster here really quick on our second leg of our show. Once again, welcome Michelle Stacy, The Bean, Yerek Wildcat, Hydroponic, I said it right, 72 Virgins, I like that. Welcome. ATT, Is This Real? Leonidas, welcome back. Mackinac, welcome back, Mackinac. Manny, Monty Sprinkles, Nical 3000, Peter, Rocco, Rush 29, Smell My Finger, Stephen Volpa by 2 Zappa, and Kettle Corn. Welcome all. Welcome all, and we're back on 1. We're back on number 1, folks.
Yes, indeed.
It's always good to be number 1.
As we should.
Oh, by the way, everybody in this city wants to be number 2. You know why?
Why?
All right, I'm gonna read you very briefly a story on this mayoral candidacy that's going on, and this was written by Rick Hutto, who is he's one of the state, rather local politicians who are on the city council, and he's talking about how everybody is trying to be number 2 right now, not number 1, because
why would they want to be number 2? That's kind of nasty.
I'll tell you
right?
why, and that's a very, very good question. And it's the title of the headline is called "The Race for Second." The race for second, and the reason why he's saying that is because he feels that whoever the 2 last candidates are standing in this nonpartisan election is going to be mayor. They believe that the number 2 candidate will be the mayor. And why is that? It says here, and I'll just read one paragraph from here. He says, I'm going on a limb here with my procrastination, whatever. What is prediction? All right.
Okay.
But if Bishop pulls enough votes away from Rickett on September 17th, Sam Hart might slide up into that second position. No matter whether it is Rickett or Hart, we will see a massive effort in the runoff to stop Jack Ellis. His voters who love him will turn out once again, but he also has many voters who hate him, and they would turn out to vote for David Kuzno if that were the only option to defeat Ellis. So, if, let's say, like they said, if Rickett is knocked out of the box and Bishop comes in, then Bishop will be knocked out of the box by Ellis, and then those that say, oh shit, it's only between Ellis and Kuzno, they'll throw their vote behind Kuzno. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's hard to predict some things like this. Some things, just sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Like, for example, I mean, you had this guy, I don't know, you probably never heard of this guy named Lester Maddox, and he was a former governor of Georgia, and, people thought he was a straight up bigot, like Ronnie Thompson. And he used to do crazy stuff. You thought Ant did some crazy stuff wearing a big old pink and purple jacket, during Cherry Blossom. This guy, right, he used to ride a bicycle backwards all around town and stuff when he was running for governor. And lo and behold, he won. So you just, some things, you may think maybe a open book, open and shut case, or a slam dunk. It always doesn't end up that way. You know, sometimes fate puts a little twist in things, put a monkey wrench in some people's programs, and just make it totally different than what you thought it would be.
Well, by the way, Rocco, if you're asking a question, could he influence judges? Everybody that is here actually can influence some of these judges. It depends on how many times they have lunch at Janine's.
Janine's.
You know, you never know. Yeah, Janine's is the big hotspot for politicians. Which, by the way, Sam Nunn's daughter, whatever her name is. Sam Nunn's daughter.
Yeah, Sam Nunn's daughter running for senator.
Yeah, she's running for senator.
You know, I wonder if she's running for senator just to keep the Warner Robins base around,
of course,
keep it open.
Of course, there's always some reason behind what they do.
Because Sam Nunn, he kept that place open for a long
Nepotism,
time.
Yes,
yeah.
Rudy.
Because my dad worked there for like a good 30 years after he was discharged from the Army. So he basically worked there for a long time.
Well, he was a great senator for the state.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I'm not sure what the hell he did, but...
Well, I mean, for one thing, his one lasting memory will be just to keep this base closed, keep it from closing. Warner Air Force Base closed, because you had other Air Force bases all around the country, particularly in Southeast, like the one in Houston, the Air Force Base in Houston, Texas. You know, where the astronauts train, you know, to get, you know, to go to the moon and you know, space shuttle later on during the 80s and 90s. You know, and other Air Force bases around the country, particularly in Florida and North Carolina, South Carolina, in the Gulf Coast regions. He basically kept it going because more than likely they were in competition, believe it or not, with these other Air Force bases.
Wow.
You know, especially when you have military cuts like that. I mean, that's just, you know.
Hey, Bean, do you remember anything that Sam... I'm watching the video that you just sent me of Rocco. It's funny as hell. I'll ask Ed. See if we can play this on behalf of Rocco. Oh, Jesus. Rocco, what the hell's going on there with you?
Oh, man.
Jeez. Do you see that?
Did he just fell out of his chair?
Yeah, he fell out of his chair and he's laying there.
I hope he wasn't sick.
My God. All right, anyway. Great. Thank you, Home Skillet. Appreciate that.
Man, that was a crazy one right there.
That is a crazy one. Still playing. Oh my God, he's just laying there. It's just a 3-minute video of Rocco laying next to his chair. Oh my God. Oh, you gotta, Ed, would you play this video, please?
What video?
It's Rocco laying next to
it.
By the way, I like that chair, Rocco.
Where is it?
He put the link to it.
It's on the link. It's on the yeah. It's on the link here on the chatters link. YouTube, whatever. No, we're not trying to pile on. They just send it.
Okay, just go ahead and go. I'll get it.
All right, he'll get it. But anyway, Rocco, this is good. You know, that's what I was talking about just yesterday with somebody about Anthony. Anthony was mentioned on Mix in the Morning.
Okay.
Right? But he wasn't verbatim mentioned. He wasn't, like, they didn't mention his name. But, in fact, they said, there's that, what the hell,
Rabble Rouser?
No, it starts with a letter B. Buffoon. There's that buffoon holding his sign again. And everybody that watches that show knew exactly who the hell he was talking about.
That ain't Derek.
And,
they all know who that is.
Well, but here's the thing. The funny thing about it is that bad publicity can equal good publicity. Just like my bad publicity has got me some recognition. Believe me, in this town I'm not liked very much by many people. But they know that I will expose their ass no matter what. Doesn't matter. Especially if it hurts somebody else, wrongdoing. Not if they do it themselves, you know. I don't really care if they smoke weed or whatever. I really don't care.
Yeah.
What I care about is if it affects somebody else. And so, Rocco, everything that you do, it's not hurting anybody. So, whatever publicity you have, whether it's good or bad, is publicity. We're all about publicizing. Yeah. Rocco for Secretary of State. By the way, where is it, Ed?
It's not ready yet.
Oh, Ed's getting it ready, Rocco. By the way, I love that chair.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But like I said, you know, some things you just can't predict. Just all open and shut like a sure bet. You know, like I said with Lester Maddox, he was riding around all throughout Georgia backwards on a bicycle, and somehow that helped him become be elected governor of Georgia. You know, I mean, people.
Yeah. Well, what the hell did the governor of Georgia ever do? Besides, you know. Oh, there's another one. Oh my Lord.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah. A lot of shit going on there, Rocco.
Whole lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we got a screenshot. We got all sorts of stuff. Anyway, giving Rocco some publicity, I'm glad to do. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, what else is in the news before we go to this video? Go ahead, Derek.
Yes, I was finding some stuff that was going on that says a campaign signs in the right-of-way issue returns to Bibb County.
Yeah.
Yes, it says with the Bibb County making big consolidated government elections approaching, campaign signs are going up, and so is the awareness of local groups like Designing Macon. Same issue, a different time of year. And basically, Bibb County Sheriff David Davis says that every election year this becomes an issue, and it's no different this year. We're going to see a lot more signs going up over the next few weeks. You know. And basically, we're saying that the general rule of thumb with right away is that basically you don't want to have that many excessive signs, of campaign signs and stuff. He says, never maintain roads with a concrete marker with RW on. It says that residents who maintain their lawns up to the street on state highways, the 5 feet area from the street and to the yard is also the right of way. According to the Sheriff Davidson Department of Transportation, workers usually remove signs placed in the right of way. State law allows anyone to remove a sign placed in the restricted area. And Sheriff Davis says all signs removed by GDOT workers and its deputies are taken to the Bibb County LEC, where candidates can retrieve them. So basically, you know, you can put your signs up campaigns, but just make sure where you can and can't put them. As long as you're not like say 5 feet, no closer than 5 feet from the highway, because you know it can be an obstruction, whether visually or on your car. That's pretty much what I have on this story from Clinton Bourgeois. Has some other news, international news. The India rape trial that even fast-track justice plots. Something from New Delhi. It says the government promised swift justice after the gang rape of a young university student on a moving bus in India's capital late last year sparked nationwide outrage. But speed is relative in a legal system that's so overburdened that even a normal criminal trial can stretch well over a decade. The trial is in a special fast-track court, which is still plodding along, according to the news sources. A recent session lasted just 2 hours, and only one witness had time to testify. Still, if the case does wrap up soon, it could be remarkably fast by Indian standards. One reason for the delays in India's justice system is a shortage of just judges. India has approximately 11 judges for every million people, compared to roughly 110 per million in the United States, according to India's Law Commission. So that's a whole,
well,
that's a lot of judges, because since they have 1 billion people.
Pardon me. Yeah. Well, let's go back to that sign issue for a minute.
Okay.
Charlie Bishop, Mr. Religious, mayoral candidate.
I thought that was Joe Allen.
They're both. They're like bookends.
Okay.
But to me, Joe Allen, I don't know. I don't like a guy that says there's no race problems here in Macon. That's what Charlie Bishop said. At least that's what I got the inference of. He put his signs in the wrong place. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a guy who's going to be mayor. Okay? If he doesn't even know what the hell a right-of-way is. I always say, when people don't know the little things, what makes you think they're going to handle the big things? This guy's putting in signs. It's true. He's putting in signs in right-of-ways. Now, meanwhile, I had David Kuzno show up. By the way, David called last night, Ed, for you. See how you were doing. But David Kuzno brought in the rules and regulations for signage here, which I have right somewhere around here. I don't know where. I moved it over there.
I have them somewhere.
Anyway, the right-of-way is, of course, as you know, is public land, I guess. Mm-hmm. They're not allowed to put it in the right-of-way, which you got to figure out on your own what a right-of-way is. Mm-hmm. And he told me that Anthony had some of his signs in the right-of-way. And then I called up Anthony, and Anthony said, no, that's wrong. I didn't have it in the right-of-way. And besides that, the only sign that I put up, you had the mayor and you had this guy Bishop having their signs there that are 5 times my size. I didn't buy these big, gigantic billboard signs. So if I put it in the wrong place, they put it too. Why isn't David calling them?
Okay, I've got the rules. Basically, the rules are, okay, this is from Designing Macon. The rules are no signs in the right-of-way unless it's private property.
You're right.
Okay, you can't put it on city property. They'll be removed. You go down to the LAC and you can pick them back up.
Okay.
All right. You got to have permission, like the signs he has out here. He needs permission. So if they're in the right-of-way.
Okay.
Now, those ones at the election poll that are there now.
At the who?
Where you're going to go vote?
Go vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pine Knoll? Do they have permission to put their signs there?
They're 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet away from the
100 feet away.
They are 100 feet. Yeah, they're 100 feet.
And they're about 101 feet away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome, Chief Luck. I haven't seen you in a bit. All right. Let me see. Manny, some of those mods should be stripped of that privilege because of their inability to be fair and balanced.
Well, you know, we're going to have a problem now, being that it's election time. We're going to have a problem with race relations because that's what Charlie Bishop said. Only when elections come around we have the problem. Not the rest of the year.
No.
Only around election time.
Yeah.
Well, it's all, part of the whole gig here in Macon, Georgia. These people, you don't see them for shit. And then all of a sudden, they're starting to have a race or something. They all come out like they've been around and like freaking roaches they show up. Before that, you can't even find them. They all want to do interviews, free interviews, and hang around at parties with free food. That's why they do it. They don't care. By the way, Bean, let me ask you a question. Since you are the bona fide Maconite, very, very much a part of this community, and even though you live outside it now, you're still very much a part of Macon, Georgia. What the hell did Sam Nunn really do? Name me one thing that he did for the state of Georgia. Yeah. Let me see. I don't mind the signs all over the place, but every election, some person who puts up the cups and the fences and the intersection on Telfair and Little Richard P. Boulevard. That's true.
Yeah.
By the way, that was started back when, but it was also Danny Glover that did that. Danny Glover.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam Nunn kept military dogs satisfied.
That's what I said. He basically kept the Warner Robins Air Force Base open.
Oh,
that's
okay.
That was pretty much the main thing.
That's it.
Yeah, he kept it open.
No.
He kept it open because they're in competition. Believe it or not, they're in competition with other bases and stuff. Whichever have the more goodies and stuff, they get to stay open, and some of them end up closing, which some have. Like I said, there've been many times. People have been threatening to close the base several times, particularly because they're in competition with Cape Canaveral over in Florida, and then you have like the Air Force Base in Texas, in Houston, Texas, where like I said, where some of the astronauts actually train to get ready to go in space, to go into orbit with the space shuttles back during the 70s and 80s, and early in 90s for that matter. So,
all right, well, by the way, Rudy Force says none voted against every Clinton legislation. Did he? He was a conservative Democrat, that's true. Mm-hmm. Which is probably the reason why I liked him, because I can't consider myself that. I hate, I'm one of those guys that I don't, honestly, every time I see a church giving out food on the street, it really upsets me. Mm-hmm. I think people should earn their keep.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind, when people are down and all that shit and you need a little help here and there. But I can't stand that they make it like a staple where, this is for homeless feeding day. Everybody show up.
Homeless feeding day.
And I remember when they were giving clothes away and you had one woman hover over the freaking clothes and took about half the trunk with her. Nobody stopped her.
Yeah.
Like, people get all crazied out. But anyway, Sam Nunn, I really want to know more about his history, what the hell he really did, because his daughter's out running for senator, and I want to see if she's gonna take up some of what her father did.
Possibly.
Anyway, history is less important than her. Thank you, ICQ. Please, guys, keep it on topic. Stop bullshitting with yourselves and start listening. Please. Thank you. Thank you, Manny. Thank you. Anyway, so what else is in the news, Derek? You got something up?
Yeah, I have a few.
And then I'm gonna read something out of this the 11th Hour, which is a popular making paper, downtown paper. Go ahead, Terry.
Yes, I was saying, heard that this is from News, I guess international, and this is from UNICEF. That says UNICEF has some grim findings about childhood poverty in the Dominican Republic. The UN agency says half of Dominicans younger than 18 live in poverty, struggling to get enough food, access to safe drinking water, and adequate housing. This despite the fact that the Caribbean country's economy has been steadily growing since 1996. However, the study conducted within the Dominican Economy Ministry that found that only 30% of kids finish primary school and that only 18% finish high school on time. 18%. Those schools are in poor shape, and then nearly half have no drinking water and nearly 60% have no toilets. The report was released yesterday, Wednesday. Dominican President Danilo Medina has previously pledged to spend 4% of the GDP on education, which is more than previous governments in the country of 9 million people. So that's what I heard so far.
All right. Well,
yeah. Well, since it is
that was interesting.
Yeah. I also heard that a former Mississippi standout, Crespino, dies at age 75. Bobby Crespino was a tight end and receiver for some of Mississippi's best football teams from 1958 to 1960. Died earlier this week in Atlanta. He was 75 years old. The Cockrell Funeral Home in Macon, Mississippi, confirmed Crespino's death after a lengthy illness, but did not provide details of the illness. He was 6'5", 225-pound. Crespino played for 3 Ole Miss teams that had a combined 29-3-1 record and shared a total of 2 national championships in 1959 and 1960. He caught 30 passes for 408 yards and 4 touchdowns in 1960. He also played 8 seasons in the NFL, 3 with the Cleveland Browns and 5 with the New York Giants. He was inducted to the Ole Miss Athletics Hall of Fame in 1991 and Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame in 1994.
Wow.
So, rest in peace, Mr. Crespino.
Also, okay, go ahead.
Oh well, yeah, and also in other news, other sports related news, I should say.
Before we go to sports, though, because I want to keep sports all together.
Okay.
But I did want to talk about Shark Week.
Okay.
Very quickly, and then I have a quick story on what happened in New York.
All right.
But Shark Week. Has anybody been out there watching Shark Week? There was a countdown to up to the worst shark for humans, or the most aggressive shark. Everybody is thinking that it's the great white shark, when in fact it's the bull shark. Mm-hmm. That's really the most dangerous shark out there. So what happened now that Shark Week is going on? Of course, New York has to step up and kind of bring it to light. Well, guess what happened? Mm-hmm. Commuters found and encountered an unexpected passenger when they boarded a New York City subway train early Wednesday. A shark. Mm-hmm. A still wet 1.5-foot shark carcass was discovered on the floor of a subway car around midnight in downtown Manhattan. Maybe what? Sharknado's really happening, dude.
Jeez Louise.
The shark, described as weighing between 5 to 10 pounds, was discovered in a row of seats by passengers on the Queensbound N train. That was the train I used to take home. At the 14th Street stop. The shark had blood in its mouth as though it had been recently punctured by a fishing hook. The shark quickly drew a crowd. As entering the subway, riders began to photograph and pose with the shark.
Wow.
Even adding a subway fare card, soft drink can, and a cigarette to the serpentine shark as props. After several stops, that's New York for you, I swear to God, we find humor in everything. At several stops, the MTA official entered the train at Queensboro Plaza, cleared it of all the passengers, and locked its doors. The MTA spokesman Kevin Ortiz told CNN the shark was removed later that night and disposed of. So they found it in the morning. It took all frickin' day to get it off. The spark species was never identified. It actually, I'm looking at it based on what I saw in the shark story yesterday. It looks like a baby bull shark. Looks like a baby bull shark. After several stops, the MTA entered and... okay, that was said already. I have no idea how or why it got there. As whether anything out of the ordinary happened that evening, I could only point to having to ask people to leave, but those were peaceful ejections. Adding that the customers have since returned to the bar. Well, let me see. Some have speculated that the appearance of sharks in mysterious places is a publicity stunt for Discovery Channel's Shark Week. Photos of the two mysterious sharks have exploded on social media. Shark Week is all about conversation, so it deeply saddens us that someone would think that this is funny or in any way connected to celebration of sharks. That funny?
That's crazy, man.
And if you look at that.
Yeah,
right under the seat.
Right under the seat.
I don't see the beer can and the other things that they put on there.
They probably cleaned it up before they took that picture. Some sicko. I remember the old the old school Saturday Night Live skit, The Land Shark, would attack people that answered their apartment door. Those are great skits. That's true. Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest skits I think they had at that time. Don't remember anything quite like it. Yeah, it's funny how shark sightings increase during Shark Week. Yes, Discovery is a fake channel. Well, for a fake channel, they sure as hell having a lot of ratings this weekend. That's my brother, Edward Manper. Welcome back, buddy. Anyway, so I just had to interject with that. Sorry about interrupting your sports. We're now going to sports for the next 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just checking out some things while he was going in there. There's some good... I'm just going to go and just briefly look into the baseball scoreboard. The Baltimore Orioles defeated San Diego Padres 10-3. Cincinnati Reds over the Oakland A's 6-5. Seattle over Toronto's 9-7. Pittsburgh over Miami 4-2. The Atlanta Braves gotten its 13th consecutive win last night over the Washington Nationals, 6-3. Atlanta is number one, still number one in the NL East division, which Washington is number 2. So that was also a good win for them.
Now, what was that almost brawl happening? They almost had a brawl the other day. Somebody hit. All right, you keep going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was. I just wish I could find the film footage for that. The Mets, New York Mets over the Colorado Rockies, 5-0. We'll see who hasn't beaten the Rockies. And the Boston Red Sox over the Houston Astros, 7-5. Detroit defeats Cleveland in extra innings, 6-5 in 14 innings. Another, the Texas Rangers over the LA Angels, 10-3. Milwaukee Brewers over the San Francisco Giants, 6-1. Chicago White Sox over the New York Yankees in an extra inning win in 12 innings, 6-5. The LA Dodgers trumps the St. Louis Cardinals, 13-4. That is a beat down right there. And also another news, the NFL NFL is underway. Well, actually, the preseason is underway because there are two football games that are coming on right now, preseason football games. They only have maybe 3 or 4 games until it goes underway, goes full. The real virtual season starts around September. You have the Baltimore Ravens, the Super Bowl defending champions who won earlier this year against the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to have their preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They defend their defense begins Thursday, which is tonight, and they travel down south versus Tampa Bay. And this is going to be the first time they're going to say goodbye while they're playing. Say goodbye to their franchise players, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Because since Ray Lewis retired at the end of the Super Bowl earlier this year. Yeah. And also other news, the Atlanta Falcons, the other team, they're going to have their preseason game tonight against the Cincinnati Bengals. So check your local listings, particularly in Georgia and Atlanta, or particularly those in Cincinnati, for those to check when the game is supposed to start, probably around either 7:30 or 8 o'clock p.m. tonight. Mm-hmm. And also, I guess, somewhat, sort of, kind of sportsy related news. I think TNA Impact Wrestling is going to be on tonight on Spike TV from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock tonight on Spike TV. So check your local listings on in your cable system or satellite area for that programming. And also, Tiger Woods is trying to end his drought at PGA. The first round has begun, with Woods trying to win his first majors since 2008. As you know, he's playing in the PGA Championship today. I think starting this week, and it's gonna, basically be playing all throughout Sunday. And that's pretty much all I have for sports.
Wow, that was quick. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, Edward, in Largo, something happened in Largo that made news. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. Mm-hmm. Can you remind us, Edward? It happened in Largo. It was mentioned yesterday on the news. Something crazy that happened.
Oh, I think if it's something that I think I might have heard, is on the Tampa Bay Times, that a Largo man at Tampa General was after shark attack in Bahamas.
That's it.
Yes.
Shark attack. You see, I knew I was watching Shark Week.
Yes.
And it was mentioned. Why don't you tell them the story?
It says, as the boat sped toward land, rocking and bobbing over rough waves, Eric Norrie spread his arms wide and thanked God. Why? Because he had already lost a lot of blood and was still bleeding from a shark bite to his lower left calf, but he saw it as just another trial, a blessing. He says, the calmness that I had after that was all the Lord, said Norrie, who was at Tampa General Hospital on Tuesday, waiting for skin grafts. There's never in many years where God put me through something that wasn't for my own good. At July 29th, I guess it was earlier last month, Norrie, a 40-year-old Largo resident, had speared a grouper, not too big but big enough for dinner that night. I guess that was a huge fish. He was headed back to the boat. his family was on vacation in the Bahamas, and the family members were snorkeling and between Great Guana Cay and Scotland Cay in the Abaco Islands.
Yeah.
And he held the struggling fish in the water, a technique which was a mistake when it came up from behind him, and he realized that it was a 6-foot Caribbean reef shark, or maybe it was a lemon shark, but it was some type of shark.
Yeah.
And what he could see was a shark with part of his leg in his jaws. As the sparkling blue water quickly turned red, he yelled for help and calmly used a rubber band from a spear gun as a tourniquet on his leg. So basically, he was able to save his leg with a rubber band from his spear gun. Luckily for that. When the boat made port in the Bahamas, Nuri was airlifted to Miami Jackson's Memorial Hospital. Last week, he was transported to Tampa General to be closer to home. He says he's been spearfishing and swimming around sharks for years and hasn't been in the hospital much, but spins yarns about rattlesnake bites, lightning strikes, and even fights with wild monkeys.
Yeah. My brother said now he doesn't have a leg to stand on. As far as moderators and everybody else, once again, please, you guys, it really shows the character of a person when all you do is stay off of the topic of the show and engage each other in all this bullshit chatter talk. Manny, don't worry about it. The best way to deal with people is to ignore them. That's it. Ed is the one that picked out the moderators, and I'm happy that he picked them out the way he did. And they're here for a reason. But if you're going to continue to come back and forth, control your moderator, just do the right thing, and you won't get... you won't have to deal with them. Ignore them. Moderators, don't ignore them. Your job, on the other hand, is not to ignore them. You have a different reason to be here. Everybody chill out. Even Rocco is behaving this morning. Rocco's doing good this morning. Thank you, Rocco. Rocco's being a good guy today. He's not interjecting every 3 seconds, worried about moderators. He said, that 45 seconds I'll never get back. Thank you. Anyway.
Oh, my goodness. I guess.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, come on. Please. I swear to God, every time we're casting this show, it feels like I'm dealing with romper rooms. Bunch of little bratty kids running around screaming, and then nobody wants to listen to each other. Relax. It's okay. It's going to be all right.
Yes. Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah. Don't worry, be happy. Your bills aren't paid. Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, but speaking of somebody that's getting some bills paid, I know there's going to be at least 2 or 3 people going to get their bills paid.
All right, go. Here we go.
There have been some winning tickets in the $448 million Powerball jackpot that was sold in New Jersey and Minnesota.
Some guy went in this morning and paid $700 in tickets. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I wish I had.
I wish I had it.
In a bank
I ain't giving away $700 of that money over ticket.
Yeah.
How many all food stamps or welfare?
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I bet you that $700 was some kind of welfare benefit or food stamp, because obviously they don't give a shit for it. They're just like spending it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but lobsters and
lobsters.
Right.
Well, anyway, the
mignon.
Wow. The $448 million Powerball jackpot will be split by 3 winners today. 2 of them which are in New Jersey and 1 in Minnesota, according to lottery officials.
Yeah.
The winning numbers in last night's drawing were, if you happen to have your tickets, I'll read them for you: 58, 5, 25, 59, 30, and Powerball 32.
Yeah. Has anybody won it yet?
Well, yes. There's winning tickets. We have 3 of them. Winning tickets in New Jersey were sold at the Super Stop and Shop at South Brunswick, New Jersey, and Acme Markets and Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey. It is unclear where the winning ticket in Minnesota was sold. 3 tickets 3 tickets winning match 5 were sold in Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas, according to the Powerball website. The jackpot earlier stood at $425 million, but grew and was announced the higher number before the drawing. The estimated jackpot now stands at $40 million for the next drawing on Saturday. It's played in 43 states, as well as Washington, D.C. and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, if you split that three ways from the $448 million, the person or people holding each of those tickets from last night could walk away with nearly $150 million each.
Wow.
Before taxes, of course. Before taxes.
They'll kill you on time. My brother says maybe Raul won. That's my other brother, I guess.
Is he from Minnesota?
No, he's, who the hell knows? I don't even know where he's at. I haven't seen him since the shuttle Challenger exploded.
Dang, since 86?
Anyway.
Man.
Who knows? All I can say, he's in Jersey. By the way, if he won, Edward, you can rest assured, not any one of us is going to get a frickin' dime. If I won, on the other hand, I swear to God, that would be one way of trying to unite the family again. I'd be giving the money away to everybody. Everybody in my family would get it.
Yeah, even though I'm not exactly blood related, could you at least send me a few bucks so I'd be able to get a car that was built in this century?
You're my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
And Ed's going to get help.
You're his brother from another mother from another color.
Yes.
Yeah. I would hire Rocco as my
bodyguard.
My bodyguard. Yeah, because I know he won't pull no shit. Shit. He won't allow any shit. Well, maybe I'll be Rocco ain't for sale. Well, it's not for sale, Rocco. You'll make some money. Yeah. If I won, I would move to Macon just to bust your cool. I would love it if you moved around here, Ed. It would be so much fun. I mean, you would definitely fit into all the mayhem that's here. They would love your ass. At least you make people laugh. I make them laugh, but not for the right reasons. You would hang around with Ant, wouldn't you? By the way, Ant is doing pretty good. He's getting noticed everywhere.
Wow, that isn't something.
Let me see. I go to Real Porn's Bunker, Fart and Leave. Yeah, I was watching that show. That show's pretty skanky. I mean, that father, the son looks better than the father.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Father looks like a former junkie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anyway. What else?
Oh, yeah. I have some good news. Some CNN. This is from the update of Amanda Berry and all the people and the two other women that were violated by Ariel Castro. Says that Cleveland, Ohio, the Cleveland woman who was held in the longest at Ariel Castro's House of Horrors was there to see it shortly before it was torn down yesterday. Michelle Knight handed out a yellow helium balloons yesterday morning to people who gathered for the demolition of the 1,400 square foot house where she and two other women were raped and held captive for roughly a decade. Minutes later, a hydraulic excavator began reducing the house to rubble, destroying the site of one of Cleveland's most notorious crimes. It says Knight told reporters that she was at the demolition site in part to remind relatives of abducted children that all is not necessarily lost. She said, I want the people out there to know, including the mothers, that they can have strength, they can have hope, and their children will come back. Castro forfeited the house on Seymour Avenue as part of a July plea deal with prosecutors that took the death penalty off the table in exchange for a life sentence plus 1,000 years in prison. So the house that they were held captive in for over a decade has been demolished down.
They did it in less than a day. I mean, they would go a couple of hours.
Yes, they did.
And yeah, I mean, that's a good way of doing it. They did the same thing with Columbine. They destroyed that whole school. You don't want that shit hanging around. It's like the Amityville house.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to that freaking house in Amityville just to stare at it. Meanwhile, it doesn't look anything like the house that it used to be.
I bet you they stare at it in the daytime. They don't come around at night.
I went there myself.
I wouldn't take a chance on that.
I rode all the way to Amityville, and then the kids, the kids on the block were riding their bikes. And I said, I know the house is around here. Do you know where it is? And they, yeah, it's right over there. And I went, and they covered that window. Remember that famous window?
Yeah.
They made the window, you know.
Yeah.
They had a fly problem.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have a fly problem here.
That's true. Speaking of some problems, there was a preacher that was who was on his way to church one Sunday, and he found out that his parking space was gone. His name was gone because the elders, it gave word to the elders that the Saturday night before, the preacher was caught going to a Rick Ross concert. And the elders found out about it. Like, no, we can't have a guy like you as our pastor of this church, and we got to let you go. And a lot of people, you know, I was, you know, heard about this story. This was on the Doug Banks show, and people were talking about, do you think they were a little bit harsh on the guy? And then I felt, well, yeah, maybe it would have been extreme, but then they also included that the month before that, he went to a Lil Wayne concert beforehand, the pastor. And I'm thinking, I mean, you could only
he's got a lot of time on his hand.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I know a lot of these preachers, you have to go through, like, have to do research on the stories, the subjects they have to talk about on their sermon, but do you think it's really that necessary to go through, you know, to visit hell just to do?
Well, believe it or not,
I mean, you don't have to smoke crack.
I have an opinion on that. Okay. One of the things that I used to, when I got here in Georgia, that I realized is that a lot of the disciples were Christian.
Yeah.
They go to church.
Yeah.
They wouldn't go to gay pride parades. They wouldn't go to parades that were controversial. And I used to say, don't you think that's where they need you? Don't you think that's where you should be? All you want to do is hang around with people like yourself. What the hell is that all about? Jesus didn't hang around with just his disciples. He hung around with whores, transvestites, everybody.
Did they have transvestites
thieves
in biblical times?
Yeah. That's why he was killed. Because he was hanging around with all these horrible people. Lepers. Nobody wants to hang around with these people. That's exactly where you need God to work by you being there. But these so-called Christians, they only like to hang around with other so-called Christians. And what are they talking about all day? They're in a freaking kumbaya all day.
Yeah. But see...
to me, I somehow see a little bit different.
The thing is, well, I guess the reason why the elders didn't want him to be passed because Rick Ross was, you know, had a song where he talking about he was getting a girl a roofie or some type of Mickey whatever and date raped her, and like I don't know if I know there are some people he helped out prostitutes, but I don't think the God advocated date rape. You know, I guess that's the reason why.
Well, that's true, but here's the thing. Remember, going back to the point that I was making with who did Jesus hang around with? He hung around with the worst freaking people you could imagine.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why the so-called religious nutcases hated his guts. And so when you look at a guy like this going to a Lil Wayne concert, it depends on what his motive was. What was his motive? Yeah. Was he there to enjoy Lil Wayne and that disgusting looking creature that looks like freaking Predator?
Yeah.
Or was he there to preach the word?
Yeah. That's something to think about, but I'll just end it with this. I mean, I know he tried to help. He did heal the sick and help those who needed help. But at the same time, I don't think you have to smoke crack to know that it's bad. Just like you don't have to put your hand on a stove to know that it's hot.
Well, I don't know if this guy was smoking crack either. All right.
Well, we know it's going on 10:03 a.m. We're down the home stretch into the third and final hour of the morning roast. Live from the doghouse at 75 degrees, sunny in Macon, Georgia, with a high of 91 and a low of 74. We'll be right back.
Yeah, baby.
We know that
that these two boys have been charged. One is 17, we believe. One is 15. Do you have any doubt that the two that have been charged are the ones that committed this crime?
I have no doubts that the shooter they have in custody. I've seen his photo on another reporter's cell phone of the man that they have in custody, and it's definitely him. They're being charged with felony murder, and I just hope, that the shooter dies. I mean, I had to watch my baby die, and I want him to die. A life for a life. And the young one, he was an accessory and accomplice. I hope that he gets a juvenile correctional facility to age 21 and a consecutive life sentence in state prison.
You chose to cremate your little baby, Antonia, and you had a private memorial service. How would you like to remember his short life?
Alive, walking around, waking me up. He didn't even get to say his first word. I'll never hear his first word.
Sherry, I'm so sorry again for this appalling thing that's happened to you and to your family. And I wish I could say something to make it better, but I can't think of anything. It's one of the most appalling crimes that I have heard of since I have been here in America, and my heart just goes out to you.
Who cut school for the day, tried to rob her at gunpoint, shot her in the leg, and 13-month-old Antonio in the head.
My baby was shot. I was shot near my head. And of course, there's going to be GSR everywhere.
But if the father was not at the murder scene, what could explain gunpowder on his hands?
You're watching the most shocking and informative LRJ TV News.
Hello, I'm LRJ from LRJ TV. This is a recap video. Let's go. Oh, Lord Jesus, it's too much for one day.
After receiving a phone call from her mother telling her that her brother, Antonio Santiago, had been killed, Ashley Glassley says she started to have her doubts, starting with a call the night of the shooting when Ashley's mother asked,
How soon do you think life insurance policy will send me a check?
Ashley tells me she hopes her suspicions are wrong, but based on her conversations with her mother, she's not sure. Glassley described their discussion, saying her mother is crying one minute and then sounds fine.
Well, I can just say that I spoke with the detectives and the investigators, and the evidence leads to many witnesses, not just me as a witness, that heard communications with, the defendants. And I call them defendants, not suspects, because I identified the shooter, and it's definitely him.
Ashley says her mother is bipolar and has schizophrenic tendencies. She believes her mom is on medication, but could not tell me any prescriptions specifically.
She changed her story as far as she told me that the baby was shot first, and then she told me that she was shot first.
But Sherry West maintains her story.
They shot my baby in the head, and I had to watch him die, and I want that boy to die.
A lot has changed in the 4 months since I was the first news reporter to interview this couple back on the day that their little son was killed. Now here we are. The father is in jail, and the mother says she wants him there.
He's where he belongs.
Sherry West told me she wants the father of her slain baby boy to remain behind bars.
He was throwing things through the window and terrorizing me, saying that I killed my baby and that it should have been me.
Charged with violating a restraining order, Luis Santiago is now locked up in the same place housing the teen charged with murdering his son, the Glynn County Detention Center.
He went nuts.
But a court motion filed by defense attorneys goes further. According to this forensic report, Santiago had a small quantity of gunshot residue on his hands when I spoke with the parents hours after their son was killed. Defense attorneys say that suggests Santiago, a convicted felon, had discharged a firearm at or about the same time that his son was shot.
They can say so many rumors and things, but I want people to know that I loved my baby.
West insists she was walking her baby by herself when these two teens who cut school for the day tried to rob her at gunpoint, shot her in the leg, and 13-month-old Antonio in the head.
My baby was shot. I was shot near my head. And of course, there's going to be GSR everywhere.
But if the father was not at the murder scene, what could explain gunpowder on his hands?
He may have touched my clothes in the hospital. I mean, that's probably, if there was GSR.
You know that baby was not killed by those two black teens. Now, if I was a prosecutor in this case, prosecuting Miss West, this is what I probably would do. How you doing, Miss West? I know you are here today in this sad situation. I must say you look very familiar. You remind me of somebody. Who is it?
Hell's your problem? What are you, gay or something?
Yeah. You look like a hooker, Miss West. Miss West. Miss West.
How about that?
Now that is a wing dang doodle.
That guy should not be the one making fun of that woman, how ugly she is. That's the last freaking guy that ought to be doing it. I'm sorry. He's scarier than she is, and she's pretty damn scary.
Yeah, well, you can't give, you don't
I
get to
swear to
choose your
God.
messengers when they send the message.
I'm serious. Right, Rocco? I mean, come on. That fat freaking slob is making fun of that woman and how she looks.
Diaz, man, you a mess, man.
This is
So
exactly what I'm talking
Aroka's
about.
really gone downhill.
This is what I'm talking about. You notice? This is what I'm talking about. When fat, jovial, overweight, obese people like to call short-statured people shorty, and I turn around and go, "Yeah, you fat frickin' slob." Here's a guy making fun of a woman that looks like hell. It's true.
Hell
She
won't
horrible. Horrible.
Refried
But then
hell.
you look at yourself, you fat pig. The hell is that all about?
Yeah, but he don't have no
This,
bullet
this
holes in
reminds
it.
me of the time when I was on the subway and we had a Muslim guy having an argument with a Jehovah's Witness. And I'm going down the stairs and I'm saying, you both got it wrong. Stupid arguments over shit that they don't even know. They're both wrong. Anyway.
That's got to be. But I told you on the chat room, Eve. I told you that was a wing dang doodle, wasn't it?
God.
I'm like, yeah.
It's a wing dang shit up.
And you know what's that's so crazy? See, and personally, I think that's just messed up. Yeah, I know it is very wicked. It's really messed up when you commit a crime and then all of a sudden people believe it. All you gotta do is just blame. You know, hey, you got a crime, you want to commit a crime, but don't want to go to jail? Call 1-900-BLAME-A-NEGRO today. You know, that type of stuff. See, like the same what she did, you know, just get a
She
kill
really
her own
looked like she was
kid own
mourning,
child, and
didn't
then get her husband to shoot her in the leg, then blame it on some brothers. Come on, that's
Wow.
no different. That's no different than what Susan Smith did back in what 94, 95. You remember that woman back in 19? She was dating this guy, and he was getting ready to break up with him. I don't date ready-made families, and she drove her car in the swamp or someplace like that, and their sons were in the back seat and stuff, and they drowned, and then they blamed some black guy for it, and then they realized that she finally confessed to it. I did it, even though they actually found a guy who really didn't do it, but he looked exactly like the description that she gave, because it's really kind of sad.
The Bean
It's
says,
sad.
why shoot the baby in the head and her in the leg? The baby can't testify who the shooter was.
That's a good question, Bean. That's a good question. I wish I knew the reason why.
Well, she didn't look like she was mourning at all.
Of course she wasn't mourning. I mean, neither like Susan Smith when she told that lie about, I sure hope somebody find the killer. Dry as a freaking sandpaper. All that crying, not one doggone tear. That's whoever said that, man. I think who was it, Rocco or plastic canvas, Monty Sprinkles, whoever said that, you are definitely Sherlock Holmes on that when you hit the money on that. Somebody, yeah, if they crying their eyes out.
She wasn't even crying.
Now one tear. Now one doggone tear.
And then she had those fake eyebrows. Now she's going to get a new hairdo. And, what's this with the insurance?
Yeah, Susan Smith. I'm sorry. It was Susan Smith, not Samantha Smith. Susan Smith. Yeah.
Anyway, he is what Kramer would call an ugly baby. Yeah.
Well, it's really
every single one of those people were ugly.
Yeah.
From the guy making fun of the ugly to himself. I mean. What a horrible story.
Yeah.
Not only is it horrible that a baby died and the mother obviously killed it and trying to collect something or who the hell knows.
Insurance money.
Insurance. But then you got this fat slob bringing it and trying to make her look even uglier than she is. When he himself ought to look in the mirror if it's big enough for him to hold his reflection. Which, by the way, we're going to talk about.
About ugly people?
No. To be fair, wait a minute. To be fair about what? Yeah, that's true. You'd rather screw her, yeah. If you are a killer, color of skin should have nothing to do with it. That's true.
That's true. And crocodile tears, exactly. Crocodile tears.
Well, let's just put it this way. That was a horrible story. Exactly. Thank you, hydroponic. I agree. Well, do we have anything better to talk about, for God's sake? We always do. And guess what we're going to go to? That's when Ed gets in here and plays the music.
I do have, one kind of story. Hopefully, this Sandlot actor, Tom Geary, was arrested in a headbutt. You're killing me. John, did you ever wonder how Scotty Smalls would turn out when he grew up and left the Sandlot behind? Well, I bet you didn't know he was headbutting cops. It says, according to court records, this is from ABC News, court records show that Thomas Geary, age 32, the actor who played Smalls in the 1993 iconic movie The Sandlot, is charged with headbutting a police officer last weekend, according to ABC's Houston affiliate KTRK. This apparently went down at Bush International Airport, where a United Airlines employee called airport police saying that Geary was too drunk to fly. According to police who told CNN, that's when Smalls, Mr. Geary, allegedly headbutted the officer. He was arrested and charged with assault and is out of jail on a $5,000 bond, according to KTRK. He's expected to be in court next month. Social
Now, who is this?
Thomas Geary. Those who've seen the movie The Sandlot, is about kids playing baseball in the Sandlot, and I guess he was a Babe Ruth fan. So I
never saw the movie.
Yeah, it's a funny movie. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's a very funny movie.
Okay.
About kids playing.
So
baseball.
he was flying a plane drunk?
Well, he was a passenger on the plane drunk, and he was just acting all rowdy. And then they tried to get the police that were on him, Sky Marshal or whatever, and he just gave the man a V8 or something, headbutt him.
Wow. Well, they wind up strapping him down with that duct tape they got. No?
Yeah.
They got the special tape that actually tapes you down to your chair. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, my brother said it was a great movie. The Sandlot Boy was a big, with the big hat, he said. It's a great movie. All right. Let me see. Ed, we're going to the Daily Bread. So,
you got it ready? Okay, yeah, you do.
I have it ready, but he's on the phone right now. So, let's move on to the Daily Bread. Speaking of images and reflections and all that, today's Daily Bread is Reflection on Windows for August 8, 2013. It's funny, we were talking about Alaska today. I think ATT mentioned it. Much of the scenery I saw during our vacation in Alaska was through the windows of a moving vehicle. I was thankful for glass that allowed me to see the beauty while remaining warm and dry. But the windows also presented a challenge. When it rained, water drops on the outside obscured the view. When the temperature changed, condensation caused fog to develop on the inside. Those challenges helped me understand why it is impossible for us to see life the way God intended it. Sin obscures the beauty of life that God wants us to enjoy. Sometimes sin is inside. Our selfishness creates a fog that makes us forget about others' interests. Sometimes sin is outside. The injustice of others causes our tears to fall like rain, preventing us from seeing the goodness of God. Sin of any kind keeps us from seeing the wonder and glory of life as God designed it. For now, even though we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12, we see enough to know that God is good in Psalms 34, verse 8. Many wonderful things that God has revealed will help us to forsake sin and to work to minimize its consequences in the world. Lord, improve our vision, clear the fog that comes from self-centered thinking, help us to uphold justice, to offer comfort to others, and to wipe away the tears that have been left by the storms of life. The only way to see life clearly is to focus on Christ. And your Bible read for today in Psalm 119, verse 18, open my eyes that I may see the wondrous things from your law. There you have it. Our daily bread for today. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Oop, wrong one.
Amen. There you go.
There you have it.
Thank you, Hydro. Thank you, Edward. Thank you.
Pastor Ointment.
Blessed are you all.
Oh.
I like the way the Pope does this. You notice how I do that?
Yes.
He likes to wave his hands like that.
Yeah. It's 75 degrees outside in Macon, Georgia, 75 and sunny so far, with a high of 91 and a low of 74.
Yes.
It's getting hotter and hotter right here in Macon. Can you believe, even though it's only gonna be 91 degrees today, it's pretty much the coolest summer that we've had this year.
It's hot as hell out there. Let me tell you, I went out there yesterday to walk around.
Yeah.
It was hot as hell.
It's like a breeze compared to last year. It was like we had triple digit weather.
Yeah, we did have 104 degrees here.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, there you go. Remember, folks, the way you see things may not be exactly how they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, just like that guy, he's over here making fun of that woman, and yet, who is he? I like to see what his life is like.
Yeah, good question.
A lot of skeletons under that purse. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, a whole lot of skeletons.
Anyway, yeah, humidity does suck.
Yeah, it's...
I bet you know. Do you know how he handles ICQ? Ah, my God. Here's a local Maconite, I bet. Well, it's good to have you here. We want more Maconites. By the way, ICQ, can you please at least get the word out about our show? Because these Maconites, they don't look in. They miss out on everything. We're more internationally known than locally known.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say
Ironically.
that. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. But, including myself, yeah. So many people are judgmental, including myself, my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
This show is international, of course, Rocco. Where are you sitting? Rocco's sitting somewhere else. And plus we have a few people showing up that are from England and Australia and Alaska and all over the place.
Yeah.
We're all over.
And one person was Yeah, one person was from not Australia. I think Canada. Yeah,
And we have people in DJ Fugus is from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Здравствуйте, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Alaska's in the States, but not really. I mean, that freaking place is way outside the mainland.
It's
Even
cool,
though it's
isn't it?
Alaska and it's part of us, but it's like Hawaii. Yeah. Over there somewhere. Shit. I consider the United States those that are in the same body. Yeah, Alaska's one of our states. We thank God for Alaska, but they came around late with Hawaii.
It was
48 states when I Love Lucy was on.
Yeah. And then it came around like 1959.
Yeah, whatever.
But I mean, I don't think it's their fault. It just.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea, ATT. Maybe we should get a world map that shows where my viewers are, where our viewers are. Yeah.
I wonder if it's possible to get.
Was Alaska a penal colony? I didn't know that. Oh, penis colony. Yeah. Anyway,
it's too cold.
What else, Derek?
Well, I was trying to find some breaking news that we had. I was trying to find something here. Well, as you know, it's 10:25. It's almost 10:30 going on. It's 10:25 right now.
Yeah.
It's
10:24.
Yeah, 10:24. Excuse me, 10:24. There has been some stuff that has been going on. There have been 4 people that were killed in a Texas shooting spree.
Wonderful. Things always happen in Texas.
Yeah, breaking news.
Lone Star.
Yes. 4 dead after Texas man opens fire at ex-girlfriend's home. This is from CNN. A Texas man went on a gun attack in 2 cities late Wednesday, I guess late last night.
Yeah.
Killing 4 people, including 2 at his ex-girlfriend's home, police said. He wounded 4 more. When he saw that his ex-girlfriend was not at her Dallas home, he stopped shooting there and quickly drove to a second home in the area in the city of DeSoto, where he found her, according to a CNN affiliate WFAA. There, he used "quote-unquote" some sort of explosive device, then opened fire on the people inside. DeSoto policewoman Melissa Frank said. Police arrested suspect Irby Bowser when he ran out of ammunition, she said. It says charges are pending. It says Dallas and DeSoto investigators are working together on this particular case. The U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, or ATF, is investigating the nature of the explosive device. It says that no information information of the boys' conditions wasn't available. There were two adults were fatally shot. 2 boys, ages 11 and 13, were wounded by gunfire. Mrs. Frank said that she would not say whether the ex-girlfriend was shot.
Wow.
Talking about the victims.
Well, there you have it. More shootings in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Those people have a lot of problems. I mean, aren't they the ones who are trying to stop abortions and all that shit? Not that I'm for abortion, but really it's so backwards over there.
Well, they'll give a person death row just for jaywalking, but you know,
no, that's
I'm
true.
kidding.
And especially if you're black, yeah.
Oh yes.
Or Mexican. Yeah, you talk about weird shit. By the way, here we have we do have some news.
What about that Millersville gas war?
Yeah, what's up with that? We have a gas war going on, where prices are below $3 a gallon.
Oh boy, lucky!
I don't know what
them.
Mr. Patel is doing. I figured the name of the owner of the gas station is a Patel guy. For the past few weeks in Millersville, gas prices have been dipping well below average.
Mm-hmm.
Nationally, the average of a gallon of gas is about $3.60. That's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
In Georgia, the average is about $3.49. But in some places in Milledgeville, which is what? How many miles from here?
About 10, 15 miles.
Yeah, the prices went down to $2.99. It's all part of what some are calling a gas war.
Yeah.
Last week, Kroger's gas was $3.02 a gallon, as was Walmart and Flash Foods.
Mm-hmm.
By Friday, Kroger and Flash Foods was $2.99
They
a
also
gallon.
$2.99 gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
That led to lines out the door for people trying to fill up their tanks while the price was low. You know, that's probably cheap gas.
You mean like watered down
Like
gas?
watered down.
Mm.
No, I thought it's just leftovers of all the big name gases. It's the same shit.
Oh,
You think
okay.
so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the only way to really tell
There's
is
always
check your
something.
mileage.
There's always something. You don't get shit for free. And you don't get shit that, you know, what looks like a sale may not be one. You'll burn through that gas like water.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's cheap.
Yeah,
Watered down.
we're having a gas war here, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
She says fewer people are coming in the last week that has hurt sales. She says in a day, the store usually makes about $8,000. There you go.
Smell popcorn?
And in the last few days, they only made $900.
Yeah.
Patel, there you go. I swear to you, I didn't even read the story. Would you freaking believe this? Patel, the store owner, believes larger stores like Kroger's and Walmart can afford their cuts, but they lost it by artificially lowering prices because they can make up for it by selling groceries and other items. At Jet Gas, I never heard that, where the price is still $3.29, workers say that they believe the gas war is only temporary and they will be able to ride it out by relying on regular customers. Some business might be lost, but I think it can be made up for a good customer service. Whatever. You know, that was a war that we had in New York. We had a dry cleaning war, believe it or not. I was taking in contracts for my boss for a different hotel, but we had somebody else lowballing us on a percentage that the hotel received. This guy was giving them like 30%. We only gave on average 35%. And they lowered their prices. They put us in a dry cleaning war, so I know what that's like. Anyway, what do you think about this, Derek? This gas war? And
I wish we were able to get some same gas wars over here. Would definitely lower down.
Yeah.
I mean petroleum. We get these petroleum prices down
I
there.
saw that.
It'll
Anthony
definitely up and
Weiner.
down.
Yeah, he won't pull out. Weiner won't pull out. What the fuck? Weiner,
He
pull
likes
out.
to keep himself in there. By the way, Weiner called an opponent old man in front of the AARP. I saw that, and it's outrageous. I have been making posts on with Dominic Carter, who's a big guy in New York, New York One TV. He's a so-called friend of mine on Facebook, and we've actually talked on private chat. This guy, Weiner, is really dick-slapping people in the face with his presence.
With his wiener.
Presence, yeah.
This guy, first of all, he's not mayor quality kind of guy. And he's like another roach that comes around.
Because he kind of bends to the side?
Yeah. He probably is.
Bends to the left.
Yeah, he's bent to the left. Who knows? But all I know is that he should not be a mayor candidate.
Okay.
And yet he will not pull out. I mean, you talk about his wife sticking by him.
You know how to stick.
Yeah, you talk about.
She can really take it.
Even an inch up. By the way, I don't know about that. He's very proud of his wiener.
Yes.
And he did talk about that. He said that while he was a kid, they made fun of him because of his name and all that. I think he's got a psychotic sexual problem where all he thinks about is his wiener.
Well,
That's a problem. We don't need a freaking mayor who's only thinking with his wiener or about.
But what if someone had a last name of Head? Do you think they would go through the same type of trouble?
Head?
Like Richard Head? Dickhead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or hairy head?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
All I know
Harry
is
Sacks?
he's got a sexual problem. Hey, Jeff Adams show. Who does
Hello,
not
Jeff
have a
Adams.
sexual problem as a man? That's true. But boy, this
Oh,
guy.
my goodness.
What do you get off on sexting? And by the way, the girl that he was sexting to was on that Dr. Drew, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Who always has people fighting on his show.
Mm-hmm.
You leave there with more problems than when you came in.
And the thing is, and see, now I'm now I have to admit
She
this.
made a porno.
Yeah, well, see, well, come on, what do you think? Her last name is Leathers. That kind of told me something right there. The seafood platter vibes all over the place with a side order of coleslaw. I'm just telling you. Her last name is Leathers. I mean, you would think someone with that name, you think they into rough stuff and S&M. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, the girl that he was sexting made a porn video, right? And then ATT says, Irv, not just thee, but many women have come forward. This guy is a sexual pervert. Now, yeah, all of us have some perversion in us.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, of course. That's what men are for. Oh, friends, whatever. But really, think about it. This goes both ways. I mean, that girl was probably fingering herself while she got those texts.
Mm-hmm.
Or thumbing herself. And this guy Wiener, with his Wiener name, this guy is who the hell knows what he's doing? And this is all happening while his wife is pregnant.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't want to put a hole in the kid's head.
Well, yeah, I guess so to speak.
If he banged his wife.
But on the bigger side of things, compared to other politicians, and I don't want to sound like some pig or anything, but come on, the stuff he's doing, like the sex, it's not even nearly as bad as the other politicians. I mean, like, look at Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich, you know, got a divorce from his ex-wife.
While his wife laid in bed.
Yeah, on her deathbed.
What about that mayor, that Fresno guy?
Yeah, the Fresno guy, yeah, that dude. Elliot Spitzer was buying prostitutes through state lines and then had a show on CNN. Now, how do you figure that? I mean,
and
come
the
on.
governor of New Jersey who came out as being gay.
Yeah.
What else?
And Arnold Schwarzenegger had an illegitimate child with his nanny for 10 years and people kept that a secret? Come on. What 5th grader, 6th grader you know that's 11 years,
she look like a
11 years
Russell.
old, 11 years old, knows all the lines to Predator, can bench press his own homeroom teacher. You gonna tell me you gonna keep that a secret and you don't think that's the Schwarzenegger's child? Come on. No, it's not a tumor. Give me your lunch money. Come on now. Come on.
I don't
You know that's the governor's son.
Come on.
Well, I have to
Please.
say, you know, Michelle Kennedy, whatever her name is, Maria Shriver or whatever.
Maria Shriver, yeah.
She's not much to look at. You know?
Well, no. Well, she used to be. She was a reporter. Then I don't know. I guess Time and
I don't know.
Time and stuff. You know.
Oh, by the way, you're right. Says I have an insurance agent. His name is Jack Egg, and he was in the office on College Street. So I guess he ain't doing so bad. Yeah, I guess so.
I knew a Jack Hoffenbach.
Did you?
Yeah, Jack Hoffenbach. Went to school with him.
How about the name Lipschitz?
Mm.
That's another bad name. Lipschitz.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust nobody.
Mr.
I
Lipschitz.
wouldn't want to tell. I wouldn't tell a secret to a guy, somebody named Lipschitz, because it sounds like you always talking crap.
Do you know Mike Hunt?
Yeah, Mike
You do?
Hunt. No, I mean I heard the
You
name.
know Mike Hunt?
I know. I know of his name.
Oh, by the way, yeah, I heard about that Volpabite, the little kid with the python victims, choked them to death.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about that?
Yeah, I was
pretty sad story. No?
Yeah, very sad story.
Yeah. Do you have that?
I was trying to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good segue. We're talking about wieners and might as well talk about
You
sex.
like talking about wieners, don't you?
Anyway, those poor kids. You know, who the hell would have known? I agree, by the way, Rudy Ford. Al Sharpton is an opportunist.
Mm-hmm. No doubt
Yeah,
about
he's
it.
another wiener.
Yes. As we were talking about the python, it says an escaped python kills 2 young boys in Canada. That's a
lot of shit is happening in Canada.
Yeah, 2 young boys sleeping at their friend's home above an exotic pet store were strangled by a python that escaped its enclosure, its cage, in the Canadian town of Campbellton, New Brunswick. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police said earlier this week. A former employee of Reptile Ocean, I guess the name of the store, told the National Post that the snake was an African rock python.
Yeah, Rocco just said it's the most aggressive kind.
Yeah, between 14 and 16 feet long. And this report incorrectly stated it was a boa constrictor. So the identified boys were 5 and 7 years old, unidentified boys. They believed to be brothers who were on a sleepover at the owner's apartment, according to the National Post. Says the python, the only large snake in the store, was captured and turned over to police. And it says in the wild, African rock pythons feed on monkeys, antelopes, warthogs, and even crocodiles. In suburban areas, their prey includes dogs, goats, rats, or fowl. Jeez, that should be a hit and a half right there. If you got a freaking rock python, you shouldn't even have it nowhere near children. I mean,
what did the police do with it, by the way? That's a good question, Ed.
Well, they did it. Let's see. I think the police.
They didn't shoot it.
No, they didn't shoot it.
And the other thing is, they're lucky. They found those kids even there because if those things can eat an antelope.
Yeah. And a crocodile. I mean, and crocodiles. Poodles, yeah.
Yeah,
freaking
I lived in
poodles.
Florida.
They killed it with
big
poison.
old water, it's like they have canals and all that shit.
Yeah.
It was like a big old lake, and I was coming home one night and there looked like a rug in the road. There was an alligator.
Yeah.
And they called the police. They said to leave it alone. And anyways, over the next 3 weeks, 3 poodles and a cat were missing in the neighborhood.
You know what? You're right, Rocco. It's not the snake's fault. It's poor parenting. Somebody should have kept an eye on those snakes, don't you think?
Yeah, no kidding.
You're a pet store. What happened?
Yeah. I know.
I mean...
Well, did you know that in Georgia it's against the law to kill any snake that is non-venomous?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, they keep the
because they take care of rats and all that shit.
Yeah, they get rid of rats, which kind of makes sense. I ain't got a problem with them. Just don't, just do your what you got to do over there, and let me do what I got to do over here.
Yeah. Well, just as update, the rock snake. Boys were 4 to 6. Snakes was upstairs and not in the store below. The snake was euthanized.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, how the hell did it wind up upstairs? That's the point.
Probably through the vent or something like that,
No, I think they were stored upstairs. I may be wrong about this, but... this is why... what a way to go. I mean, that's true. But this is why, people take in animals that are like wild animals. I mean, that's why they call wild animal.
Yeah, I mean...
Not supposed to be...
That's not something you're gonna see on Animal Planet. I mean, unless you're near a swamp.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't house train them. I mean, you don't get no dog dish from. See, the stuff you get, you can't buy them at PetSmart. You got to take them into wildlife to feed them. When you have to feed that particular pet or animal in the woods, and you can't get them at PetSmart or Walmart, hey, I don't think I wouldn't recommend it as a pet.
Well, here's the thing. He says yes, the snakes were stored upstairs, and then somebody said cable TV showed the 2 kids playing with the snake cage one day before they were killed. So maybe the snakes went back to play with them again. You don't know what these animals are thinking. Can they even think?
Well, we know that they know that they can be hungry, so we definitely know that.
Now, wait a minute. Now, there's also the issue of the petting zoo. The kids were in a petting zoo before that. Maybe they still had the odor of the animals, and they probably mistook those kids as
food.
As food.
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, it's a African rock python. I mean, it eats. It eats freaking antelope and crocodile. If they can eat something that big, I mean, a kid is, is probably just a hot pocket to them. You know?
Yeah. or a what's the other one?
Burrito, Big Mac,
The one that you put in the Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart, corn dog or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the kids didn't know the dangers they were playing with and murder. Anyway, once again, whether it's the parent killing the child and looking like a snake, or the snake themselves, we got a crazy world that we're living in, folks.
Oh, yes.
Kids are like so unprotected these days. It's just terrible. It's just a horrible thing. Little kid. Look at what happened with Usher and the kid. Almost drowning in a pool.
Yeah.
And what else?
Yeah, I was just reading what Saibuka says. My kids were handling snakes and tarantulas yesterday. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't leave them alone with it. Well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They don't mistake. They eat whatever's available. That's true. I mean, but again, the kids were at a petting zoo that day.
Yeah, but they live next door or above.
They didn't live there. They were visiting a friend who lived upstairs. But they went to a petting zoo that day, came back, stayed upstairs. I guess they went to the pet store and played with the snakes, and then went to bed.
And then the python
the rest is history.
I smell antelope.
Yeah,
maybe a midnight snack.
Kids have always been unprotected. It's just adults have made the world so much more treacherous. Of course. Yeah, I agree, Volpabite. That is true.
Talking about getting the munchies. Speaking of getting the munchies, there was a story from Sanjay Gupta from CNN.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about why I changed my mind on weed.
Oh, and he was defending it yesterday.
Yes.
I was like, go Gupta.
Yes. Matter of fact, it says, seeing that they have a special of it, says, Dr. Sanjay's groundbreaking documentary that's going to be playing 8 p.m. at August 11th on CNN, which is next Sunday. This upcoming Sunday. Watch Dr. Sanjay Gupta's groundbreaking documentary, Weed. W-E-E-D.
Yeah.
At 8 p.m. on August 11th on CNN. He says, I traveled around the world to interview medical leaders, experts, growers, and patients. I spoke candidly to them, asking tough questions. What I found was stunning. He says, long before I began this project, I had steadily reviewed the scientific literature on medical marijuana from the United States. I thought it was fairly unimpressive. But reading these papers 5 years ago, it was hard to make a case for medicinal marijuana. He even wrote about this in a Time magazine article back in 2009 titled, Why I Would Vote No on Pot. He says, well, I'm here to apologize. Excuse me.
My brother says, pot is good. It is our friend.
He says, I apologize because I didn't look hard enough until now. I didn't look far enough. I didn't review papers from smaller labs in other countries. Excuse me, from
pot's making you sneeze.
Yeah.
Now I'm sneezing. What the hell?
Says he lumped them in the high. He mistakenly believed the Drug Enforcement Agency listed marijuana as a Schedule I substance because of sound scientific proof. Surely they must have had quality reasoning as to why marijuana is in the category of the most dangerous drugs that have no accepted medicinal use and a high potential for abuse. They didn't have the science to support that claim, and I now know when it comes to marijuana, neither of those things are true. It doesn't have a high potential for abuse, and there are very legitimate medical applications. In fact, sometimes marijuana is the only thing that works. Take the case of Charlotte Fiji, who I met in Colorado. She started having seizures soon after birth. By age 3, she was having 300 a week. Despite being on 7 different medications, medical marijuana has calmed her brain, limiting her seizures to 2 or 3 per month. Wow.
Wow. Well, let me just say this before we go on to words, origins, and who said it first.
Yeah.
All right. You've got alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
That's legalized, yet it causes, people to crash their cars and liver damage and all this shit.
Yeah.
You got cigarettes, which I smoke, that causes cancer and other shit. When you take a look at the statistics, no one's ever died that anyone knows of
from marijuana.
And yet,
is illegal.
Smoking.
Drinking
liquor. And prescription drugs, which has killed all these young actors. That, just recently, that actor from Glee.
Yeah. Well, that and with a mixture of heroin. Too.
Yeah, and so many others. So I don't understand it, and that's what Gupta was saying yesterday. He said, I don't understand the double standard. Why is pot so illegal, and yet you got all this other shit that's legal that's more harmful?
That's dropping people like flies.
I don't get it.
Maybe it's a form of population control, I'm guessing. That's probably why it is considered why alcohol is it can kill you, but it's legal. But marijuana isn't fatal, but it is illegal.
Well, it's true. You can't patent the plant, but you can regulate it, like they regulate liquor and they regulate cigarettes, and just regulate it. And we'll probably get a lot of tax money from it, and who the hell knows? But look at that clump of shit that Ed just put up. That is marijuana, and everybody looks at it like this horrible drug, narcotic. When in fact, they should decriminalize it. And legalize it in a way that is helpful to everybody. Just like they do with liquor, just like they do with cigarettes. And again, the other guy was arguing, well, we don't want these kids to get loaded. Well, what the hell? What the hell? You're allowing people to smoke their asses off till death do us part, like me. I could go out and buy a pack of cigarettes at any time. I can go out and buy liquor at any time. And why is pot such a big deal? You know why? Because it's easily grown.
And hard to control.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not like liquor. Liquor you have
like kudzu on a summer lawn.
Yeah. Liquor, you have to do all sorts of shit to it. Cigarettes, they got all the pharmaceutical companies are making money with all the chemicals that are in it. The same thing with liquor. There's all these pharmaceutical companies that are involved, believe me. You may not think so, but it's all chemical shit. Liquor and everything else. And pot, they can't do that. They can't come up with a way to, to put chemicals in it, although a lot of the pot today does have chemicals in it.
Wow.
But, that's the reason why. It's the pharmaceutical companies that are holding this shit back.
True. And plus, I agree with ATT and Rocker says once they legalize the tax will make weed like twice as expensive, 2 times more expensive. That is something, yeah.
Well, let me see.
And then it says Warp says the system uses the pot laws as a tool to fill the prison industrial complex.
Well, exactly. Oh, by the way, Kettle Corn says the government is opposed to pot for medicinal purposes because they can't tax a medicine. But they can sure as hell make a lot of money off of it somehow. I mean, if you don't think that the lobbies, the medical lobbies, whether it's Pfizer or Merck or Glaxo or all these other big freaking chemical companies are making money, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They could do the same thing with pot if they only had the freaking brain. Just say, you know what? It's not killing anybody. It's not causing anybody to crash their cars and crash their airplanes. And, it's not as bad as cocaine. It's not as bad as crack. It's not as bad as OxyContin. It's not as bad as Percocet. It's not as bad as Johnny Walker Red. It's not as bad as Budweiser beer.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Maverick or Newport cigarettes. It's not as bad as any of that. And yet all that shit is legal. Yeah. But yet pot isn't.
Sabuki says, I don't care if weed makes you horny, you're not. If weed makes you horny, you're not smoking enough. Dang. Oh my goodness gracious. Sabuki,
it's not causing puss hats to pop off either. That's true.
Yeah, that
it
is
relaxes
true.
you.
Yeah, I was just trying. Yeah, I was reading. He says, I imagine the church has something to do with it. They don't want you to find your own peace. They want to sell you theirs. But I wish you was here like about the beginning of like the last hour. We were talking about this young guy. He was 26 years old. This 26-year-old former pastor who was fired from the church staff, church elders, as their pastor of their particular church because he went to a Rick Ross concert and a Lil Wayne concert, and he thought that going to a concert was like demeaning for a man of the cloth.
Those religious freaking nutcases, I can't stand them.
I think Sabuki will actually agree with you.
Most churches, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them. I mean, what's the most segregated time of the month or of the week? Sunday.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. These segregated churches. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they all get pissed off because people smoke pot. But meanwhile, some of these ministers get drunk on the freaking wine that they get. Bunch of alcoholics.
Yeah.
And by the way, somebody mentioned something. Somebody mentioned something that's very important. I can't believe Sabuki's agreeing with me on one thing. He said that if they sold pot, that companies like that make Prozac and all that other shit would go out of business. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's the reason why they will not make it legal, because it would put a lot of these pharmaceutical companies out of business.
Too much competition.
Too much competition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to grow. All you have to do is plant a few seeds in a pot and give it good sun.
Just like it's a chia pit.
Water.
Yeah, it's like a chia pit, but it'd be more like a chiba pit. So.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I have some more.
Yeah. And so, I think that you're right. Pot would be a big problem for some people because they won't make money on it.
Yes. You know what? I got some word origins.
Hopefully pot is included. Go on.
Well, not yet. Maybe another time. But the word for the day from word origins is curl. C-U-R-L. Curl.
Yeah, that's what liquor does to you. It makes you curl up like in a fetal position.
Yes.
All drunk like a freaking skunk.
Curl seems to have been borrowed. Excuse me. Curl seems to have been borrowed from Middle Dutch krul, K-R-U-L, curly. And indeed, the original English forms of the word were crawl, C-R-O-L-L-E, and crull, C-R-U-L-L-E. The present day form arose in the 15th century by a process known as metathesis, whereby the sounds R and U are transposed. The Middle Dutch word came from a Germanic krusel source, also of the German kraus, K-R-A-U-S, curly. Modern Dutch krull, meanwhile, has given the English cruller a small cake of twisted shape. So how about that? You got thank Krispy Kreme for crullers, huh? For word of the day, curl. How about that?
There you go.
Maybe want to go to Krispy Kreme.
It's not free donut day.
Unfortunately, no.
But yeah.
And for who said it first? Who said this phrase first? Laugh on the other side of one's face. Says the basic idea, the reaction of unwelcome contrary news, has been around for several centuries, servicing in Italian, Toriana, and French, Molière. Usually as laugh on the other side of one's mouth. French author Alain René Lesage used the mouth version in Histoire de Gilles Blas de Saint-Anne in 1715, and that was how it arrived. In English, in the 1809 translation by Benjamin Malkin, FFI, were made to laugh on the other side of our mouth by an unforeseen circumstance. By 1837, when Thomas Carlyle wrote his fictional Diamond Necklace, based on an incident concerning Marie Antoinette. He had moved from the mouth to the face. He says, "Thou laughest there, by and by thou wilt laugh on the wrong side of thy face." From there, the wrong side gradually became the other side. And there you have it.
Wow.
Who said to first laugh on the other side of one's face?
Yeah, laugh on the other. That's like Two-Face.
Yeah, laughing. You know who's really laughing right now? Speaking of which, there's one story I just had to put in here before we left.
Bring it on.
Michael Jordan's definitely laughing his way all the way to the bank.
Once again.
Judge orders MJ's fake baby mama to pay him thousands of bogus paternity claim. Pamela Smith, the woman who claimed that basketball icon Michael Jordan had fathered her 17-year-old son, was ordered by a judge to pay him $9,704.13 for reportedly trying to milk the player out of thousands of a child for whom she knew was not his, according to TMZ.
Only 9,000?
Yeah.
Shit, that's chump change, fam.
Yeah. Smith filed a paternity suit back in February of this year, demanding she get full custody of their alleged son, insisting that Jordan take a paternity test and dole out child support dollars for knocking up back in 1995. The legendary Hall of Famer, though, stood his ground and denied that he was the father of the boy. Smith then withdrew her suit 1 month after filing it with the courts, but there was a possibility that it could be refiled. According to Este Portnoy, a spokesman for the wealthy entrepreneur and majority owner of the NBA Charlotte Bobcats, stated that that Smith's legal move did not have a leg to stand on, and Jordan would not pay her 1 red cent. The judge, now according to TMZ, on July 19th, last month, the judge reportedly referred to Smith's filing as bogus and even called her out as a gold-digging media hound who hired a publicist before even securing an attorney to represent her. The judge then ordered Smith to ante up the money so that Jordan's legal tab would be satisfied. So
there you have it. Michael Jordan making some extra chump change. I bet you he gets that more per day.
From those Hanes commercials?
No, or from interest on his money. I mean, the guy obviously banked a lot of it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Know? So, I think we're wrapping it up.
Yes, wrapping it up like a mummy. Wrapping it up like a mummy. So, just want to say thank you guys for staying with us and watching us all day. It's 11 o'clock on the dot. I want to thank all of our guests and mods and chatters who were here today.
Oh, Sabuki's on.
Yeah, Sabuki. How you doing, Earl? It says, have a great day, everyone. Tomorrow's my last day for a while. Start a new job Monday. Congratulations on your new job.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yes, thank you, Earl, for coming by. Thank you, Michelle Stacy, Uric Wildcat Hydroponic, Plastic Canvas, 72 Virgins, Abnormal, Antichrist, ATT, Edward Mappa, Home Skillet. Is this real? Jess 1955, Leonidas Mackinac, Manny, Mr. 9909, Real Men Pawns, Rocker Rush 2929, Smell My Finger, Vorpal by 2, Zappa 1, and Kettle Corn. Thank you all for watching us and making our Thirsty Thursday a really good show and a wing dang ding of a show. Thanks for actually getting us over 25,000 views, by the way. Tomorrow is going to be Flip It Friday, the first Friday in August. And hopefully y'all get to check out I'm going to check out the Falcons game tonight versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And until tomorrow, this is DB on behalf of Irv and Ed saying, can you smell what the roast is brewing? We'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I'm going to the bank, baby.